What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the new season of the Presidential Executive. What's going on? This your boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente Rag.
Man,
What it do, brother?
Man, you got it.
We live, bro. We live, man.
Yep.
We live, man.
So we live. We actually got a whole episode we didn't post that we shot.
We do. And AK been hitting me up about that. You know, actually I sent him a clip.
Yeah.
Man, I want to see my boy, man.
Right.
Put it out. I said, man, I got you. We're going to do it. So we actually got something in the chamber. Probably actually may put it out. I may say that one because I know you going somewhere. So So I may want to say that for a couple weeks so we can kind of do that. So but it's going to be out soon, though. We got a new, want to call young phenom, you know what I'm saying, speaking it on him. L.A.
Yeah.
L.A. King,
Boy, young L.A.
Yeah, so he's actually in Illinois right now.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in Illinois. I forgot what he said. Somewhere in Illinois with the snow bunnies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. As hopefully as Dr. Umar would say, not money hopping.
Out there skiing. You feel me? So y'all go ahead and like this video right now. Y'all wherever that you stream podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. There we go. Almost.
Oh, don't worry. I was with you.
You got me. Okay. But y'all, during this season, this start of the season, we usually take a month or something off. So it's a conglomerate of stuff to kind of talk about, right?
A whole lot of stuff to talk about.
You know what I'm saying? So we just gonna
too much stuff to talk about.
Too much stuff, right? So we just gonna kind of condense it down a little bit. To as far as the ones that we can get into,
right.
But I know we can. It's all
and
over.
There's probably gonna be some overlap. The next time we do something, we probably gonna have to catch up some of the stuff we didn't get.
Right, and so we know we missed the Olympics toward the end of the Olympics and stuff like that. A lot of stuff happened.
Right.
Steph did his thing.
Go USA.
Your boy, the track star. What's it? I can't
Noah
think. Noah Lyles. You know what I'm saying? He had some dumb statements I think that he made that I really did want to say something about that, but I think since then I think he came back and kind of took some of those back and said it wasn't what he thought it was or something of that nature or whatever for his sake, but I just think he probably, I hate to say a grown man to kind of stay in his place, but it's kind of like he need to stay in his place though, you know what I mean? Just because of track, I think somebody said this very well. Track is like, I don't really care about track until like every 4 years personally. For me, you know what I'm saying? Now, if it's on TV, it's on ESPN or something, I'll watch it. I'll check it out or something. But as far as like captivating me and you know what I'm saying, it's only every 4 years. So to kind of ask for a shoe deal on the same level as a Anthony Edwards that's in the public eye 8 months out the year from October to, depending on if a deep playoff run, May or June, it's just, it's ignorant. I think he probably going to end up messing up his money if he keep talking like that.
And I mean, you know what, and I'm going to keep it a book too. Like, while I get the whole, how are you the world champions? You didn't beat the world. Yeah. Okay, so going back to what you said about track. Everybody runs. Like the whole world could name Usain Bolt when he was the great one. Everybody could name Carl Lewis or Michael Johnson when they were at the top of their thing. Everybody could name Ben, what's the guy from Canada that got busted using the steroids. It is people who, like, even if people didn't know the name, the guy that I forget, the comedian was like, poor little Tink with the medal Oscar Pistorius.
Right, okay.
Right? Yeah. Like that, even if you didn't know the name, you knew who they were talking about.
Right.
Name me a team. And I just say like some of the greatest NBA champions of all time. Name me a team from Serbia or Russia or Lithuania that could have beat the 96 Bulls.
I can't.
That could have beat the 2000, any one of them three-peating team Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
That could have beat the Warriors when they had KD.
Yep.
I don't even think it's a team that could have beat Cleveland when Cleveland beat Golden State. Or Miami when they had the Heatles.
Right.
Name me one. That Boston team that had Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rondo and KG, name me one. Yep. You would have to put together the Monstars to beat that team. You'd have to put together an all-star team to beat that team.
Yep.
So that's why they're the world champions. Yep. Because when we do put together a legit all-star team, that's a legit because even this year we didn't have a legit all-star team. There's a lot of guys that really shouldn't have been. Everybody knows that Jaylen Brown should have been on that team.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Kyrie should have been on that team.
Right.
Regardless of what you agree about their politics or their faith or their religion or whatever, they should have been on that team. The best players would not, and that's why we say the 92 Dream Team is the dream team, because literally one of the top 2 players of every position was in that game.
Yep.
We can't say that about, but even still, we took home the gold this year.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so when you talk about the world champions, it's because, number one, basketball is a North American thing.
Always.
More specifically, a United States of America thing.
Yep.
People from all over the world can name you whole rosters from any NBA team. You can't name me 3 people off of the Chinese team or off of the Australian team.
Unless they come from
Unless
the NBA.
they played in the NBA.
You
see what I'm saying?
NBA,
like, so you're not, and then some of these guys are not even from that country. They just couldn't make it in the league, and they're going to go over there. And
they like the money.
Stephon Marbury is going to make the Basketball Hall of Fame because he is like a 3 or 4 time champion in China. He got a statue over there. So when you combine that championship he got on the bench with Boston in 07, yes, he was on that bench.
I didn't think about that. He was on the bench. He was on the Boston?
He was on that Boston bench.
Wow,
when they won.
Okay.
He was on that Boston bench when they won. Didn't get to play,
right?
But he was on that bench. So he's a 1-time NBA champion because he was on the roster, but he's like a 4-time NBA champion with China.
Kind of like T-Mac was. Because T-Mac was on the San Antonio team. Yeah, he would have
won when San Antonio lost to Miami.
Yeah.
He was on that team.
He was on the team, yeah.
Right. If Ray Allen wouldn't have hit that shot, he would have had a ring.
Yep. Okay.
But so, you see what I'm saying? Take any, I would say, it ain't even got to be one of them all-time teams.
No, it don't.
I mean, like, it could have been Detroit. Because defensively, which one of them teams would have been able to do something with them? And who would have been able to stop Rasheed Wallace?
Yep. Or the 0-2 Sacramento Kings.
Come on, man.
To me, they
played that style of ball.
Yeah. They was Stojakovic.
And the only thing is that, they could go finesse, but then if you try to bully them, you're going to lose the fight.
Yeah.
Doug Christie, Bobby Jalen niggas was jacking.
Yeah. Chris Webb.
Yeah.
He no
not at all.
He wasn't no
and they had Turkoglu acting like a goon as well.
Yeah. Turkoglu,
Oh, and I forgot about my boy from Kansas, Scott Pollard. He was a little goon too.
Yeah. That's yep.
But again, like how you said, I hate to say stay in your lane, and that's a track pun.
Yeah. Literally.
I know, right?
I like that.
Like you said it, I was like,
I didn't even get it.
Yeah, you had said, man, you need to stay in your lane. I'm like, are you making a track pun?
Wow.
You should have get it.
I didn't take it. You got it though.
I was with you.
Take that.
Right. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get that.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
And I know you know me. I can go. You pass me the ball, like I might drop 30 real quick.
Drop 30.
But it kind of struck a chord with me when you said that, because again, it's like, let's be realistic with what we're talking about. We're not talking about sports that are kind of international, where it could be anybody. Like tennis. Yeah. Sometimes the best tennis player is not a United States player.
Yeah, especially today.
You see what I'm saying? Like your guy.
Yeah.
Your top 2 guys.
Yeah. Raf.
Nadal and what? Not Federer. It's Federer. I know Federer is like Djokovic. Federer is like your number 3 or 4.
Yep.
But I was thinking about Djokovic.
Right,
but like between Nadal and Djokovic, that's your 1 and 2. Neither one of them are Americans.
None of them.
And neither is Federer.
Nope.
And like you probably can go 3 or 4 more before you get to an American that you. In golf, sometimes like Vijay Singh back in the day, he's Indian.
Yeah, he's Indian, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of British guys.
Yeah.
But basketball. As I forget what comedian said, but this right here, nigga.
Right, that's it.
You know what it is.
That's ours. So it's man, and that's kind of real old, but it's almost kind of like when I think about him, it's like when people start really kind of smelling themselves a little bit, because during the Olympics, that's all we're consumed with. You know what I'm saying? Like literally every day, every other day depending on the thing. And so you feel all that attention towards you, but it's like, nigga, you only there for like, you're an appetizer for like 3 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then after that, it's kind of like, but it is what it is. But the dude is cold. He's a great athlete. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him on that, man.
No, yeah, and he's a champ.
Yeah, he's a world champion. He's a gold medalist. He won the gold medal, right? In the 100. Yeah, 100.
And I hate to say it, but it's like the Olympics is kind of like that person. Like ladies, if it's a dude that you really want to holler at, or gentlemen, if it's a chick you really want to holler at, we can't speak from a homosexual perspective because we don't know that language.
I can't think that.
I can only speak from a heterosexual perspective. So
as we should.
It's like when you really want somebody, like you digging them.
Yeah.
But then after you spend the night, or they come over and spend the night, after you have that moment.
Yeah.
Then it's like you start noticing out like you know what? Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
They call it post-nut clarity. Like that's what the Olympics is like.
I'm okay.
We really, really want to get it until we get it, and then it's like
we're good.
Might catch you again.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We'll see you back in another 3 or 4 years.
And then you run into him 3 or 4 years, and it's
what's
up? What's up, big head? Hey, stranger. And then right after you get it again, it's like, okay, I'm finna go
back around, spin the block again. Speaking of spinning the block, Diddy is another. We started off. Did we start off season 4? We almost started season 4 off with this whole because Cat Williams no, we didn't start season 4.
We didn't start it off, but like I ain't gonna lie now. I will say shout out to us. Cause nigga, from January to June,
man.
Oh, we was on a run. Now we started off kind of slow.
You
know what I'm saying? We started off like one of them NBA teams or NFL teams where everybody hurt.
Yeah.
You know, we losing like the teams that we shouldn't lose to, like San Francisco to the Cardinals or the Rams. Right, no, right. Oh, you see, I'm still repping though, but I'm just saying, like we take it.
That's a sideline hat.
You might actually like. Never mind. All I'm gonna say is keep living. Keep living. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
I'm with you.
And it hurt my soul to do it, but just keep living. but I mess with you the long way.
No doubt.
So yeah, but you're right. We did like January after the Cat Williams interview. We did start.
Yeah, and everything started really. We found out that Cat Williams was right, which we kind of already said that. We already knew that.
On a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and so really, I don't know even where to start with this. I think the last time we left off, I think it was the Cassie video. The Cassie video.
Walking down the hallway with the towel.
Walking around with the towel and hitting her, not only hitting her, but throwing vases at her and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think from that point we was like, okay, something's gonna happen, but we just didn't know when. And so what it looks like, he was kind of gathering his assets up and doing all this stuff because he knew this time was coming. You know what I mean? And so he ended up getting actually indicted and arrested. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like a month or so ago now, or something like that. And so now I think he's in custody. I think he's in one of the worst.
Now the arrest hasn't been quite a month. It's been maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah. But I think he's in jail.
But we knew it was coming for a while.
Yeah.
But like the actual physical arrest has probably been like maybe like close to 3 weeks.
And so kind of how I want to get into this is where I think where kind of all this stuff came about. I was talking to one of my coworkers about this because he wasn't really like the owner of Ciroc. He was with somebody called Diego.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know you was going there. Because I was going to go ahead.
Okay.
You got it.
And so, he's in cahoots with Diego, and he owns a lot of other spirit companies. You know what I'm saying? The big cognac stuff, a lot of other some tequilas, vodkas, and stuff like that. And so, I think Diddy got real greedy. He got real greedy, and he ended up, I think, suing him and his family of Diego the billionaire. And he wanted to have his own black-owned brand, and that he was bringing enough business and visibility to the black community, and he thought that, he should be getting a bigger piece, right? And so, I think, given that whole situation, and if you look at the timeline when this actually happened, I looked it up myself, because I was like, I don't know. From the time that he ended up suing that family, coincidentally, stuff's automatically started coming out about Diddy.
Right.
Like, literally, like, and this was a time where he was kind of behind the scenes, starting. I think we mentioned this, starting to give people back their masters, starting doing all this stuff like that,
humanitarian
right?
stuff out there. He
Yeah,
changed his name to Brother
so
Love.
I went back and checking the receipts, right? And I'm looking like, okay, like I thought it already, right? I thought
Little John voice.
Yeah. I already thought it, but then I was like, nah, like this timeline, makes sense now because why all of a sudden now? Why all of a sudden now all this stuff is coming out the blue, literally. And so, but it's like, did Diddy piss some people off? Did Diddy piss the wrong people off? And so, that's where I kind of want to go with that, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So for conservative JB, that was very black.
I think
you be conservative now.
Yeah, I try.
But no, you kind of tripped me out with that because I had no idea you was going that way.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't agree with everything, that he says, he is somebody who makes me consider like a Reza Islam or, and help me out. Who are some of the other people that we kind of reference a lot? I know Reza Islam.
19 Keys.
19 Keys. Like Gillian
Wallow.
Wallow,
yeah.
But Dr. Umar, now was Umar Johnson, now Umar Ifatunde. He says a lot, and he's one, like it was an expression when I was in seminary, chew the meat and spit the bones, but basically it's like when you're eating food, you don't digest the bones, you eat the flesh, and then the bones you throw away. But he kind of he's been talking about that. And so when he started talking about that, like I went and started looking up, and like you said, and that's why it tripped me out. I'm like, dang, so you on there too? Like, and we ain't really been talking about this. Our conversations over the summer have been about totally different stuff.
Yeah,
we ain't talking about no podcast stuff.
No.
Like niggas is real life going through shit in real life.
Like real life.
We've been talking about that.
Real time.
So Diego, and this is another part of it. What it is that they are billionaires. Mm-hmm. One of the top, I know, 3 largest spirit producers, conglomerates in the world. Mm-hmm. If not top 1 or 2, I know top 3.
They up there,
but they're billionaires, old money.
Yeah.
The lawsuit was because he felt like they were marketing the tequila De Leon. Mm-hmm. It wasn't so much Ciroc. Ciroc is kind of more, it is kind of the urban, popping, hood type thing. But when he did the De Leon tequila, he wanted that to be more of an upscale type of, different from Ciroc.
Yeah.
But they were marketing it like, oh, this the nigga tequila. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody else drink whatever, you know what I'm saying? But
Casamigos.
Right, Casamigos or some Blanco or whatever. But niggas drink De Leon, like that's the nigga tequila.
Yep.
And to your point, he was feeling the type of way about that. But he sued them for, it was like racial discrimination. Because
so
that's what it was like. Because you basically making us like we on some hood shit, and we're upscale, and like to your point, we're bringing more visibility, and we're global. We're known worldwide. My brand is a worldwide brand. It's not just a black brand, and so that's what it was on.
Yeah.
And so when he brought that lawsuit, it didn't go to court. They settled with him out of court. But while they were in the process of doing that, he got the Cassie lawsuit. When the Cassie lawsuit came and they saw how quickly he settled that, because the settling didn't have nothing to do with Cassie, it's because I may be going to court with Diego, so let me just go ahead and get rid of this so I can handle this stuff. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but 2 things can be true. Number 1, to quote Kanan from Power, whatever they said about that nigga, he did this shit. And so if he's guilty, whatever the process, whatever, let's take some accountability. Whatever things he did is wrong. If you get caught, you need to pay the cost to be the boss on that. Mm-hmm. But also, Eddie Griffin said it best. Comedian Eddie Griffin, name a black man who made it to the top that left out clean. And he did an interview. This was like 14, 15 years ago on Vlad TV.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
He talked about James Brown, Michael Jackson, Prince, O.J. Simpson, Bill Cosby, Name somebody who got to the top, like Michael Jordan, and they talked about the game. Like anybody who gets at the top, and this was before President Obama. So like that's the one. But I would not be surprised. Even Dr. King, after he died, they in barbershop. Oh, Mark was a hoe. Like name one that leave clean. And especially what did James Brown, like James, somebody, and I think I might have posted it on my stories on Instagram, but James Brown was doing an interview and he talked about how he owned all his masters. And he said, I make sure all my people taken care of. He said, but I'm going to pay for it. And what happened? Tax evasion, all this stuff. But he owned all this stuff. Sam Cooke. It's still debated. They like, okay, if this is self-defense, if this lady shot him in self-defense, how come he got bruises all on his face? Right. But you shot him in the chest like in self-defense, but it looked like somebody stomped a mud hole in him. Like, but again, he owned the masters. If you remember that movie One Night in Miami that Regina King produced, Sam Cooke was talking about, he was actually talking about getting all the black artists at that time, getting the masters and doing that, and that would have taken away a lot of their money they was making. When you start messing with that power structure, Prince, again, that's why he changed his name to the symbol, because they own the rights to Prince. So now you can't make any money off of the artist formerly known as Prince or the sign, because Michael Jackson, when he bought the Beatles catalog, he owned 51% of Sony, which meant he was the majority owner. So that means everybody that came out on anything, and again, Sony's the parent company. So all these little smaller, Murder Inc. No, they're up under one of the big three. It
was going to be one.
All of it was going to Michael Jackson,
and he gave Little Richard his masters back.
Exactly,
and a couple other people too.
And so now,
they figured it was going to be a whole everybody else getting their stuff.
When Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog, what, like you talked about timelines? What's the next thing that happened? Oh, Michael Jackson's molesting some kids. Bill Cosby, he trying to buy the network. The first thing that happened, they kill his son. And then he still ain't going. And then women that he didn't already paid through college, 20 years, you got receipts. Oh, I went over his house 5 times, and every single 5 times I woke up with my drawers on. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so now, again, not saying they didn't do none of the stuff that they said they did.
Correct.
But here it is, like you said, I'm suing this company. This $1 billion old money, I hate to say something that rhymes with Bugatti company, but yeah. And we ourselves have had videos taken down. We just ain't got no money like they got.
Right.
But we've experienced that when you say something they don't like, you get flagged. I stopped sending you. How often do we get messages where somebody messaging us on Facebook talking about we got to take a video down because it's a copyright strike or something like that?
Like every other day. Literally.
I stopped sending them to you.
Right.
Well, we had some dude from somewhere we can't pronounce talking about trying to put a cease and desist, and when we told him we had a lawyer, then he stopped responding.
Right. Yeah.
You start speaking, to your point, you start speaking truth to power. You start messing with the money, the power structure. They gonna get you.
Yeah, and the thing with Diddy is, you hate to tell. Well, just like we kind of said in the beginning with the track star, tell them to stay in your place, kind of stay in your lane. It's almost like, because Diddy was like he wasn't just black rich. Like, he was wealthy, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't just like, he was just one of them people that had like millions of dollars here. Like, he was literally in the billionaire stratosphere, right? And so.
Oh, he was in the yard.
Yeah, he was right there. So when you start kind of feeling yourself to the sense of like, nah, man, I can go against the establishment and win, right? And then the establishment is like, whoa.
Paul Mooney, you got your nigga wake up call.
Right, like, whoa, did it like, yes, you are that dude, but don't get it twisted. We are up here and we're connected to, the other type of people. I don't want to say, the other type of people that's established with the Diegos and families like that, to where if you do step out of line, they've proven that. It's different if we're talking about the Winans, you know what I'm saying? The people that probably live under the fray of lifestyles and don't really have that many skeletons in the closet, right? That I would know, that we know of, know about. Right? That we know of, right? But it's Diddy, and Diddy, before any of this happened, he was already rumored to be a part of Tupac's murder. He was already rumored to be part of Biggie's murder because he was trying to get out of his whole album. Actually, Biggie was done with his album, his whole deal right before his death, before he got shot.
And that's why he did a double album.
Correct. That's why he did a double album, right?
Because it was like 3 albums.
Right.
So he did the double album. Yep. So now you got 1, 2, 3.
And he was done. And so these rumors were already beforehand, and it seemed like Diddy was like bulletproof. Nobody touched anything. It's just he got bigger and bigger. He started to get on network television with the thing with the 4 with DJ Khaled and all this other stuff. It was just like he the
spokesperson. Vote or die.
Vote or die. He rebranded himself as Brother Love, and you know what I'm saying, and all this other stuff. And so now I ain't gonna lie, like for a while he seemed untouchable. And I know if we felt that way, imagine how he maybe felt. You know what I'm saying? So
that nigga got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. He thought the stuff was gonna slide right off of him.
I forgot 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now.
So now, do you remember that old song, the car song, 1,000 bottles of beer on the wall? Now it's gonna be 1,000 bottles of baby oil on the wall. Like that's.
But can you?
That's the new song.
But can you imagine, like I said,
I was gonna say I don't want to imagine nothing with that. No. Like, I use straight cocoa butter.
But it's not against the law to be freaky.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's not against the law to have multiple women. You know what I'm saying? It's not against the law to, you know what I'm saying, do all now morally we can go against a whole another grain, but when you're in the type of like and everybody knew about the Diddy parties. Mm-hmm. Even before we knew the stuff that happened backstage or whatever like that. It was always known. Even the Wayans said this on a stand up a while ago. Like, yeah, I went to a Diddy party, but I left at 12.
Or like what Brandon T. Jackson said. He said he talked to Denzel. And he said Denzel told him, "You got to leave 30 minutes before the devil show up." And he said so. Whenever he saw Denzel leave, he was out. He's like, I was right behind Denzel.
Yeah. So when you touch the establishment and when you get to a certain level, when you press certain buttons, and you do have clear skeletons in your, you know what I'm saying, in your house, in the closet, you know what I'm saying, that stuff gonna kind of come out. And so that's what it, and then not only with this stuff with Diddy, but then right after he got indicted, not too long after he got arrested, you saw a slew of CEOs dropping out. Kevin Liles, he was a CEO of a 300
right.
300. Mm-hmm. It was a couple other, I can't think of the names.
And I want to say, but Kevin Liles was before he got with 300. Like Kevin Liles was known, he was a big with Island Def Jam and other.
Wasn't he Trey Songz manager? Or something? I'm thinking somebody else.
I know he was a big record executive.
Yeah, he was. But a lot of people magically just dropping out, right? Magically just, because at the end of the day, they're not only, I don't think people can understand this or is understanding this, like they're trying to build a whole RICO case around Diddy, right? So when I think of RICO, they're not just trying to take down him, right? It's another big fish out there that they're trying to get, that they're trying to pull him in, and Diddy is just kind of the first string to kind of come along. So, like, people have been rumoring about Jigga, of course. You know what I'm saying? 50 been clowning that over the internet for a while now. And then they dragging in his wife, Beyonce, and, other people like that that's been around him. And so everybody is being quiet at this point. And actually, I think when he got indicted and got arrested, Rock Nation was supposed to have that brunch or breakfast, but they canceled it.
Well, I don't know if you saw what I posted, the last thing I posted on Instagram, but it said the internet is interneting, but somebody had posted like this scene from the Temptations when they kicked David Ruffin out, but they had put Diddy's face on David Ruffin.
I saw that.
And then they put different faces on. And like somebody redid the audio and they had like DJ Khaled and Rick Ross in there and Meek Mill and Will Smith. Like, come on, Will. I stayed giving you the baby oil. Like, if y'all follow me on Instagram, go to my store or Facebook.
You haven't put them stories up.
Yeah, now I'm not. But see, so what it is
up.
the method to the madness, and I'm not gonna lie. I follow the dude that does the voice of Skeletor.
Okay.
On the he do it on like Adult Swim, the Robot Chicken and stuff like that. But he say some funny stuff, and so but I drop enough foolishness to where every once in a while when it's something serious, it's like, oh, let's see what stupid he posted, and it's like, oh shit, that made me think.
Yeah, it do.
You see what I'm saying? And so now I ain't gonna lie, like I said, the Skeletor stuff is funny because he'll say something, it's the pause, and then he takes off running until we meet again. That's funny to me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But right after that, then it's something that make you think. I just, man, it is really crazy to see everything that's happening. If Diddy takes his own life, Jeffrey Epstein, he didn't. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Because Jeffrey Epstein said, Jeffrey Epstein pulled a Nino Brown. Jeffrey Epstein was like, oh, I'm taking some people with me.
For sure.
So a person who says, I'm not going to be the only head that rolls is not about to take their own life. Mm-hmm. And so now all of a sudden when he's about to drop the dime on everybody that's involved, like you talk about RICO, racketeering, influence, and corrupt organization, nigga, that's some mob shit. Mm-hmm. They do that with mafia members, with gang organizations. This is a fucking record label. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But again, they're hitting that charge because the feds have a 98% conviction rate.
Yeah, that was another thing.
So you talk about undefeated, that's better than the 72-10 Bulls. That's better than the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. That's better than the 69-11 or whatever 13 LA Lakers when they won. Nigga, they damn near undefeated when it comes to that. So they're daring you to take them to court because they know what their track record is on that.
You gonna go down fighting?
I personally feel and again, I will say I do agree with Dr. Umar on this, that he pissed off the wrong person and they made some phone calls. And again, when you're dealing with oligarchies, that's the people who have all the money that make the decisions. Every single one of them got each other on speed dial. Mm-hmm. And so it's just if I'm a billionaire and we kick it in the same places, our kids going marry each other, so we gonna keep this old money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Working. So you know what? Your daughter that's a Brown gonna marry a Raglan. Raglan still gonna be running. Your son that's a Brown gonna marry my daughter, and guess what? Brown still gonna be running, and them kids gonna be, and we and then we gonna find another billionaire over here, and that's just and you figure oh dang, I didn't know that the Hines family and the DuPont and this family and the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers and the and again, I'm not, hey, government, I don't have any money. I don't do anything. I'm just the voice of one crying in the wilderness. I'm going to go back in the corner and sip my yak. I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? Please stop messing with my phone and removing my mobile network. But
for real.
I mean, and you know what? I wouldn't even put it past.
Yeah.
But again, it's not an accident that this is happening. And like you said with the timeline, you look at when you make an accusation, and like I said again, you look at the Michael Jacksons and the Bill Cosbys, and I ain't gonna lie, I can't say I don't know what R. Kelly was doing to piss somebody off. I think R. Kelly was just a freak and it caught up with him.
Yeah, he was doing too much.
When you start peeing on people, it's
he was doing too much. He was doing too much.
But you look like I said with the Michael Jackson print, then all of a sudden when you start doing stuff, then that's when stuff starts happening. Mm-hmm. I mean, so again, the stuff that he's guilty for, I think that he should pay for that. But at the same time, let's not act like this isn't a lynch mob, like this isn't a crucifixion, or as Cat Williams so eloquently put it, like it isn't a reckoning.
Right, definitely a reckoning. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we can talk about morality and what he should or shouldn't do, but a lot of the stuff he's being convicted of, other than I would say the sex trafficking part and stuff like that. But having freak offs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I know a nigga we grew up with over there in North Memphis that used to have freak offs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're not gonna say no that. That's a Patreon conversation, right? Nigga, and I'm glad you said that again because I feel like And this ain't on no morality. This is not on no face stuff. So Pastor Moss, forgive me. Pops, forgive me. Pastor Harris, forgive me. I feel like everybody should have a threesome once in their life. Just so you can say, just so when the other person want to bring it up, you can say you like it, you don't like it, it's overrated. No, I'm good. I had a bad experience. Because you're like most people say they don't like it, and some people love it.
That's true.
And some people don't ever want to do it again.
Right. That's true.
But you should at least consider it so you can say when you rejected it or you accepted it, you're doing it from a position of I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should cheat at least once. I'm not saying if you're married, I mean like you got a girlfriend, but like I feel like you should cheat at least once. And the reason being is because if when you go out there and do that shit, and then you got to go back and look that person in the eyeball. You got to look your boo in the eyeball. You got to look your nigga in the eyeball, and you got to see, and they think you've been out there doing right, and you really been doing wrong. Like, and then you got to decide, like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to do that again. I like what I got. Yeah. Because you don't ever want to be like, oh, I should have been with such. I should have never came back. I shouldn't have moved here. I shouldn't have stayed. Like, go ahead and do that.
Actually,
when you do, so to your point, and I just say that because again, and this is not on no face stuff. We just talking about on some real life. If I go to the doctor and they tell me I got high blood pressure, I shouldn't eat fucking chocolate cake or something. Yeah. All right, my blood sugar up. Who don't like fucking dessert? Everybody likes fuck. So like we dealing with some real. So like forget what the doctor said. If you could pick your favorite dessert, and that's what we on right now. Mm-hmm. We ain't talking about no morality. We ain't talking about you finna take communion tomorrow. We not talking about that the Lord is coming back tonight. Like no, we're just talking about balls to the wall. Would you do it or would you not? Like hey, could he get it? Could she get like that type of conversation? Yeah. I just feel like certain things we look down at people and we forget. When we've been in situations where we did what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of parents that forget they was freaks in college. And so you roasting your son or your daughter and you was a ho-ho. Yeah. It's a lot of pastors that be hard on their parishioners and their congregation and you forget you was a player. You still got kids coming out the woodworks with your goatee or your fade. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some first ladies, you got your husband thinking that's his son and he a whole mulatto. And you from the hood and he an African, but that baby name is Philip. You know damn well that ain't his son. That baby came crying in Spanish. You see what I'm saying? Like, but you just, like, and we forget we was outside. So to your point, it's nothing wrong with being freaky. Yeah. You've had some women bring you out of town and gave you gas money. Was you sex trafficked? No, you was happy to go. Right. You was finna make a movie.
Right. Now to your point for what you're saying, like it's always best to learn from somebody else's experience. Mm-hmm. It's always best, right? But even in my life experience, like you don't really know the stove is hot until you touch it. And so now you gain like, okay, I heard that the stove was hot. So but I gotta touch it just to kind of see it. So now when I touch it now I gotta process that and be like, okay, well, they were right. I don't want that. Or I like the risk and I'm gonna keep doing it again. So it's gonna be either one of the two. So
I was gonna say, or I got to be close enough to you to where when you're touching it, I can hear the sizzle of your skin hitting the stove. I can smell your flesh burning. I got to be close enough to you to where it ain't like you just telling me, but like I'm watching you go through it, and it's almost like I'm going through it because I can hear that. Right, I can smell that, and that don't smell like no food I've ever thrown on the grill or the stove. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I see you crying and rolling around on the floor. So even though I didn't experience it, I was there. I was almost walking there through. So no, I didn't physically have to go through it, but I was close enough to see somebody that I cared about go through it. And it's like, from me seeing you, like I was standing next to somebody that got shot in the head. That let me know I didn't never want to get shot nowhere. Right. I didn't want to do nothing to be nowhere. Like that I was like, we was as close as me and you. Blood on my shirt. Unprovoked, like it wasn't no, you know what I'm saying, like somebody brandishing a gun, like it was just dude talking too much and somebody and so now I didn't know, oh well no, you know what, I think I'm gonna get shot to see. No, I was close enough. You know what I'm saying? No, to know to I mean, like it wasn't even shock, like didn't even see it coming. You see what I'm saying? But like that let me know, like, but I was close enough. But like to your point, most of the time when we hear about it, it's somebody who heard somebody who heard somebody from who heard somebody. So then to your point, a lot of times, well, nah, we want to go because we like 27 people removed,
right,
and stuff get lost in translation. So now the story then got twisted around 100 times. Nigga, that ain't how. Let me touch this stove and see if it's really hot like that for real.
And see what it is. Like even today, even with the rap stuff. We talk about the dope dealers and, you know, doing the drugs and killing and doing stuff like that. The people that's talking about it, they got a nice family, big house, car and stuff like that. Right. So kids see that, oh, okay, you say you used to do this, and so this is where you at now. So maybe I can do that and still, you know what I'm saying? So you hear the death situations and the threat to your life that happens in that lifestyle, but you also see like you good now. Like you good now. So it's what to say, why can't I have the same fate? Right. We don't look at, you know what I'm saying, when T.I. glorifies, you know what I'm saying, or says something about the life that he used to live and the hoes he used to get with and stuff like that. But you got a nice wife. You got a wife, you got a kid, right. You got a whole nice, you know, setup or whatever else. So who says that I can't do this now, right. What you say you used to do, and not come out on the same end as where you at right now?
I mean, and people don't, to that point, and this is going down another thing, but like, some people don't understand, like, man, death in life is definitely in the power of the tongue. You can't tell me people did not want to assassinate Barack Obama. But I never heard President Obama say, like, oh, I'm not going to make it to C40. I see my brains getting blown out while I'm making this speech and da-da-da-da-da. I never heard him say it. I'm not going to see my daughters, you know, raised to grow. Like, never heard him say it. I did hear Biggie say Ready to Die. I did hear him make an album, Life After Death. Pop. I did hear him get a song on his album, Life After Death, You're Nobody Until Somebody Kills You. Like that, I did hear that. And you constantly talk about that. And it happens, and everybody, oh, well, he must know. He didn't know he spoke it into existence. I did hear Tupac say, I hear death around the corner sometimes. It like, for every song that was revolutionary and inspirational, you got another song talking about how you're going to get your enemies and you're going out in a blaze of glory and you got to go. You can't have it both ways. When you do that, you are manifesting things into existence. That ain't God. That ain't even the devil. That's like you, but again, principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. When you speak out of your mouth, you are giving authority to things that you cannot see. And whether you know it or not, and people talk about, man, that is real. When you hear people say, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. And you wonder why they always have it, because they're always saying, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. Yep. I used to always say all women are scandalous, and then I wonder why no relationship I had would work out. Because every time but when I'm saying all women, all these bras scandalous, and then you just, man, what happens? Man, she's scandalous, bro. How many times we talk? Like, you remember one time you called me and I said, man, we made it to 89 days. I said, man, if we make it to 90 days, I'm gonna know it's real. Nigga, that same day I called you the next day, I'm like, nigga, I was supposed to go over there.
Yep.
And she got the whole nigga over there, like.
Yep.
And you already know, y'all friends on Facebook, y'all represent, you know what I'm talking about. But hey, it's all love. But I'm just saying. But again, I would say that out of my mouth. So when it manifested, now not to say that it couldn't have manifested anyway.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't say that it didn't cause that to be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not the only ones. Like, they're just it is artists who was in the 27 club. And, you know, that's the club that they say that these, you know, celebrities, they died at the age of 27. So you had like the Jimi Hendrix, the Janis Joplins. It started with this guy that said he sold his soul to the devil, the blues player. He sold his soul to the devil at the fork in the road or whatever, and the devil gave him these songs, and he ended up becoming this bit. Like in 3 years, he like became like this world famous artist, but he died at the age of 27. And they said like he's the one. It's something Johnson, but he's the one who was the first person in the 27 club, right?
Wow.
But the deal was, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna live to be like these people are saying that. I'm not gonna live to be a Kurt Cobain. I'm not gonna live. They're gonna like. You're saying this stuff, and when it happens,
putting that stuff out there,
you're manifesting it.
Yeah,
and so we think it's some big mystic thing. Like, no, it's not. You can speak just like you can say, "I'm nothing, I'm nobody," and everybody treats you like you're nothing, you're nobody. Or when you say you're all of that, and people be like, "Oh, I don't know why people treat him like they are," because he always say he's all that. And he's speaking it into existence. And so people are picking up on that energy and they're manifesting the very thing that you're saying. When you say, I'm going to die at 25, I see somebody killing me, everybody out to get me, you're giving power to those spirits that are out there to do that.
Yep. Yeah, we can go even way.
Yeah, that's what I apologize. No, I just thought
that can go way deeper, but we'll say that for another time. But
what we got next, JB?
Man, let's talk about the Great White Hype, man. Caitlyn Clark. She just finished the.
When you said that, I already knew what you were
the Great White Hype, man, which she ended up really being. Caitlyn
That's
Clark.
Your girl.
Yeah, that's my girl, man. You know what
I'm
saying?
And Todd.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Now Todd.
No, y'all started back going together after that.
I know, right? But
y'all was beefing on Facebook about the football stuff, and then y'all got right back. I'm like, okay, y'all good now.
But he got kind of back off me now because of the whole election thing.
When the WNBA season start back, y'all gonna
we'll get right back. We'll get right back. But Caitlyn Clark, she just finished. Well, not just finished the season, but the WNBA season is finished. She ended up getting a lot of records. I think she
because they're in the playoffs right now. Correct? Not her team, but I'm just saying the WNBA currently.
They about to be in the finals.
Right.
Yeah. They about to be in the finals.
The Liberty and the.
It looked like Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
The Lynx. I think the Minnesota Lynx looked like last I looked they were winning before we started.
They were playing the Mercury, right?
No, they were playing the Connecticut Sun.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm thinking about Sun, Phoenix.
But see, that just tells a lot because I've never watched the WNBA this much in my life this year than I've never been interested, right? So, in Caitlyn Clark, I ain't gonna front. She captivated my eye because not only because of her game. Her game is like Steph Curry to me, but I think she's a better passer than Steph. You know what I mean? And so she ended up being, I think, the Rookie of the Year. She missed the unanimous vote by one vote. Somebody voted for Angel Reese, so she missed the unanimous vote, but she broke like 5 or 6 records. First rookie to get a couple triple-doubles in the season, And so, and since that happened, it's been, even after all the records, even after all the publicity, even after all the millions of views that she brought to the game, we have people like Sheryl Swoops, which is a GOAT in her own right in the women's basketball game. Really, it's no other word other than say she's been hating on Caitlyn Clark.
You think so?
I do think so. No, I know so. I
don't do that. That's a strong word. That's JB.
She has been.
No is a strong word.
Capital H hating on Caitlyn because I remember in the beginning of the season when she was on Gil's Arena, she was talking.
Right. Yeah, she
was talking about about how she don't think she's going to do that well. You know, she's not going to dominate. And And so then now after the season, she's back on Gil's Arena and said, "Oh, she's not going to dominate." She said, I meant dominate means that she wasn't going to put up the same numbers in college that she was going to put. Like, come on now. And so, and I don't like when people change kind of the narrative because when you're talking about hoops, you know the game. Like, you can dominate, but you don't have to put up 30 and 20 every game. You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul can dominate a game and get 18 and 10, right? And you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to dominate a game by saying the numbers. And when she's saying, okay, when she averaged 30 and 12 assists average in the season, that means you dominating. And I mean, like, yeah, but then no. You know what I mean? So putting that into, even the proper context, like, I think that, Caitlyn Clark has been great for the game. And the main reason I said Sheryl Swoop was hating was because she had was on her podcast and somebody else's podcast to where she was talking about Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever, but she didn't even bring up Caitlyn Clark's name. She said shout out to the Indiana Fever, and she brought up Aaliyah Boston. She brought up Kelsey Coop Mitchell. I think you know what I'm saying. She brought up the other white girl that's on the team, Katie Hull or something. Right. It's just a random white girl, you know what's on the team. They're pulling them to the top. Like she didn't say Caitlyn's name not one time, right? And that's just almost like you saying, oh man, the Bulls are killing. You know what I'm saying? Pippen, Rodman, that Ron Harper.
Steve Kerr.
You know what I'm saying? Steve Kerr on the wing. They bringing the Bulls up. So you're not going, and so.
The assistant coach, Bill Cartwright.
Right.
What?
And so, like over the last few weeks, I think she's been trying to clean it up a little bit. But I'm just like, it irks me because we've talked about this in seasons past to where women are kind of shooting themselves in the foot. You know what I mean? When it comes to, you say you want more money, you want private jets, you want to get these shoe deals kind of like the men are, but then it's like, it's kind of like when a woman trying to find a good dude, and it's like, I'm right here, hey, but I don't like your shoes. You feel me? Ain't
I fresh?
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't fresh.
I don't like your hat.
Episode last season, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's kind of like with this, okay, yeah, we want all that, but we don't want it coming through her. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of vibe that I've been seeing, and I think everybody else kind of been seeing. And so it's like when 17% of the whole league's technical fouls or flagrant fouls is on one person. One person, Rag. 17% of them in the league, and it's like, no, we don't hate this girl. We don't, like 17%, bro. Like something has to give, but I think that, Caitlyn has been taking it in stride. She's been putting her Michael Jordan political face on, been saying all the right stuff. She ain't backlash. She had a couple reasons where she could have came out and said some sideways to some girls, but she always took the high road. And so I think that the Great White Hype has proven her worth and is really going to take the league to a new level. Now, I want to be on record in saying, I think I said before, this is kind of Magic and Bird. You know what I'm saying? With Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark. Now, Jordan is going to be Juju. When Juju come in the league, when Juju come in a couple years, Juju, the other girl, Paige.
Juju Watkins, right.
And I forgot the other girl's name, but when Juju come in, I think she gonna blow the top off. You know what I mean?
No, I mean that last crop of young women who've come out within the last couple of years and coming in.
Yeah.
You kind of got the foundation of, if you was to make an NBA comparison, like you've got the Bird Magic thing, you've got like I said, Aaliyah Boston. I guess you could say maybe like a Dominique for all intents and purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have somebody that's gonna be like the Isaiah Thomas. You're gonna have somebody that's gonna be like the Carmelo. Like you got
Flajay when she come out.
You got people that's coming in that is like
Flajay.
You got a large crop of them. So I totally agree with that part of it.
Hold up, but you don't think your girl Cheryl was hating on Caitlyn, no?
No.
You don't think she was hating? Explain.
So I think that, and you have to remember, like, this is a 4-time. No
champion?
NBA team has done this in recent years. When Boston did it, I guess you could say that's kind of the equivalent, because when Boston did it, it was only like 16 teams in the league. You played everybody like 8-9 times.
Yeah, pretty much like that.
But then they had all the best players. When the WNBA first came in, like, Houston didn't have all the best players. Like, Cynthia Cooper was 100 years old. Cynthia Cooper had won the national championship like in 1981 or whatever with USC. So, like, this is like 96. Like, this is a woman who's pushing 40. And she came in and was the best player at like 36, 37. You know what I'm saying? Like Cheryl Swoops was like pushing 30, right? You know what I'm saying? Like now Tina Thompson was the young one, but you had other teams that had like New York had Rebecca Lobo. Like everybody was stacked. Taretha Witherspoon, JaVale McGee mom was on New York team. Like everybody was stacked, right? And then you had this one team that was like it didn't matter how everybody else was stacked. So you're talking to somebody who was at the creme de la creme.
Yeah, she was at the top.
To quote my Macho Man, when the cream rises to like that. That was Cheryl Swoops.
Yeah.
I think that she is speaking on behalf of the fact that, like, okay, if we're gonna be honest, if we go just strictly, not just the eye test, the numbers, she didn't have a better rookie season than Candace Parker did, who was the defensive player of the year.
Statistically, she did.
Defensive player of the year and the MVP and the rookie of the year.
You talking about accolades, though?
No, I'm just,
like stats. Those
Caitlyn Clark ain't played defense on nobody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm saying,
Caitlyn Clark can't guard nobody on 2K.
Okay,
like that's so. What I'm saying is, you got a Candace Parker who did all of that in her rookie year. You've got a Maya Moore. Now, like you said, you wasn't watching it like that. Maya Moore was doing stuff that nobody did. Maya Moore was being compared to Jordan in her rookie year.
Yeah.
She did not have a better rookie year than Maya Moore.
She did.
No, she did not.
I bet I can look.
Her closest comparison is Diana Taurasi. The only difference between Caitlyn Clark and Diana Taurasi is Caitlyn Clark is a way better shooter than Diana Taurasi.
Yeah.
And that part is right exciting because of how far back she shoots and everything like that. But like to act like nobody's come in the league and we've never seen this before. No, you've not seen the shooting. But the dominance, you saw that with Candace Parker. You saw that with Maya Moore.
Right.
You've seen, but again, to your point, the white audience was not watching like that.
Yeah.
So now if Candace, and my only take back and pushback is that, and I think that that's where Cheryl Swoops was speaking from. We've seen black women come in the WNBA and do that. Samoin Augustus came in and was a problem in her rookie year. Averaged more points than Caitlyn Clark.
She came in killing.
You see what I'm saying? Like now well she didn't average more. No, but she wasn't the point guard. She came in as the primary scorer, but not only that, she was a scorer and a defender.
She averaged 20 her first year. Samoin Augustus.
You see what I'm saying? But she was a scorer and a defender.
Yeah.
You're all defense and all offense.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like Caitlyn is all offense. Yes, she's responsible for 47% of Indiana Fever's scoring, whether that's from her scoring or with her assistant to somebody scoring. So 47% of their points, if they score 100 points, Caitlyn Clark is directly responsible for 47 of them.
Right.
Whether that's from her shooting it or her passing somebody else who's scoring. So that means almost a majority of their points is coming from her. So did she do something historic? Definitely. Is she great? Yes. Is she going to be an all-time great? Yes. But I think the problem that a lot of people have is people are acting like this is something like we've never seen before. Oh my gosh, this is an anomaly. This is something out the mist. This is some Houdini type stuff, and it's not that. It's just, and I think the way Cheryl Swoops is coming, the way a lot of people are coming, if this was Shaniqua Jackson, you know what I'm saying? If this was Shaquanda Johnson, you know what I'm saying? If this was Alphatima Jefferson, nobody would be batting the eye. You know why? Because that's what niggas do, and that's what's expected. But somebody named Susan, somebody named Caitlyn comes in and my only problem is that people act like, let's not act like that's not a thing, and it's not amazing. It's just like the Eminem effect. White dudes been rapping, but when the Beastie Boys was rapping, nobody was like, man, the Beastie Boys up there with DMC. Nobody was like third base up there with LL Cool J. But when Eminem came out, niggas is like, oh, Eminem can spit with Nas. Eminem can hang with Jay. It was a different thing. And so now here you are with Caitlyn. Like, you had a Diana Taurasi before, but at the end of the day, it was like, okay, yeah, Diana hooping, but Diana ain't this person. Diana ain't that person. She like our hooping white girl, but she ain't. Like, okay, take a step back. You ain't. And then Diana Taurasi has played. She got a chance to play with, like, versus the Cynthia Coopers and the Cheryl Swoops and all of them. She got to play versus the Maya Moores and the Skylar Diggins and all of them. And now she's getting to play versus the Angel Reeses and the But no matter what era she been in, she's always been behind. But now here's Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is like you said, she's shooting like Curry. Why ain't none of the black girls shooting like that? They ain't shooting that far back. So it's like, and now when you talk about the flagrant fouls thing, if you look at them, prior to this year, half of the fouls that are getting called is flagrant against her. So you said 17%. So cut that number in half. Half of those fouls wasn't even called last year. That was done on other people. They're being called like they're picking on her, and what someone like the Monica McNutts, the Shanae Gamaquays are saying is that these are fouls that have always been committed that have not been flagrant, and so now it is irksome when you see this foul that got called on Maya Moore 2 years ago that wasn't a flagrant is now a flagrant. This foul that got called on Asia Wilson last year that was just a common foul because it happened to Caitlyn, now it's a flagrant. This foul that happened against Jackie Young that plays for or Kelsey Plum, they got fouled. It was a common foul, but when it happened to Caitlyn, it's a flagrant. Well, now, it is some clotheslines and some elbows that are, but some of the other stuff, you can see it's unintentional. You can see it's common. You can see they're going for the ball, and they're calling it as flagrant. And because it is some that are flagrant, now every time she gets hit, it's being looked at as like, oh, y'all are singling her out and y'all are doing this. But the media has hyped it up so much so to the point that instead of the players taking it out on the media, they're taking it out on her. Caitlyn's taking it in stride because she didn't ask for any of that. She just wants to hoop.
Well, that was going to be my question, because if Cheryl feels the way you say she feels that way, like, whose fault is that, though? You know what I'm saying? It was these other people coming. Now, I never said that we've never seen a rookie year like Caitlyn. I think she's definitely in top 3 as far as in WNBA history as far as having a rookie season. I don't think you can get better than not Caitlyn, but Candace Parker winning the championship, the MVP, maybe even Defensive Player of the Year, all in the same year as a rookie year. You're not going to get better than that accolade-wise, but
and it was also the year before a national championship in college and the finals.
Yeah. And so she had all that. But even with Caitlyn, like at the end of the day, I look at it this way. Like, just as I was saying, you saying you want all this publicity, you want to be able to stay in the States without having to go overseas right now, which a lot of the women are about to go overseas now
to have
to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for you to do that, it ain't gonna always be. Actually, most of the time, it's not going to be in the way that you think you want it to happen, mm-hmm. right? You want it to happen. You want somebody. It would be great if Asia Wilson got all this hype and the league take, and she called, which she should, right? But it took a girl like Caitlyn Clark. At the end of the day, I say it's always a perfect storm, because not only we're in the social media age, she's white, which that helps out a lot. Her game is very stylistic. You know what I'm saying? It fits in today's mode of what's in and what's hot. You know what I'm saying? And she's happens to be a happily heterosexual female.
Who Caitlyn is?
No. Yeah, Caitlyn.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. She's not. She got a boyfriend. Yeah, he used to hoop for Iowa, actually. You know what I'm saying? So she got a boyfriend. She has her own dresses and all this stuff. And so she's...
It's a white dude, though, ain't it?
He's a white dude.
Okay,
it is a white dude.
Because it was a black dude?
Nah.
She would not be that hype no more. They would be looking for the next person. They'd be looking for Susan Joychevsky or some, I don't know.
But he is white. And so to me, it's a combination of the perfect storm, because of not only how she looks, the style of her play. She was in college in Iowa. You know, the base in Iowa, like that's a swing state. You feel me? Like, and so that's almost a perfect storm of everything. And so when people point at her, and like what's the girl? I'm trying to think. Alyssa Thomas. She plays for the Connecticut Sun. Mm-hmm. They beat the Indiana Fever in the first round of the playoffs. They swept them. And so she came on out live, was talking about how the Indiana Fever fans were treating them crazy, was making crazy social media posts and comments about them, and she was slick blaming Caitlyn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
so, like, to your point, it's not Caitlyn's fault.
Yeah.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the other thing is that Caitlyn can't come out and say, she can't come out and denounce it because of all the attention that is bringing. And she can't say, I stand against this racist bullshit.
But that's what she wanted her to come out and do. She was like, if somebody don't come out and say it.
So if you don't have a place to point your aggression, because like you can't, who are you going to take out in the media? So you got to find somebody. So now the person that y'all are lifting up and elevating, you're going to catch that. The only way you don't catch that, but so it's a catch-22. The only way you don't catch that is you got to come out and denounce that and be like, look, I ain't with that. I ain't on that. That ain't me. Don't put that on me. I didn't ask to wear that jacket. Like, but she's coming and being political. But that's what happens when you play both sides of the fence. You don't get all of either side. So she don't have all of the people that's trying to. You got some of the people that like your game and everything like that, but then some of the basketball purists that's like, or even like the where I'm coming from is like, oh, it's only cause she white and da 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 da. Cause again, you're playing the middle. You're not taking a hard line on. Yeah, I'm that great white motherfucker. You like she ain't doing that.
No, she ain't
but she's also not like, don't put that on me.
Well, she has.
I just want my team to win. I'm not even right now the best player in the league. It's other players that are better than me. And I just hope that I can make it better for everybody and elevate. Like, let's talk about how dope like I'm trying to get as good as Aja Wilson is. Like, she ain't said that.
But she said something close to that, though. I've seen her come out and say that, reporters have actually asked her, what do you think about this? You think it's racist? Da, da, da. Well, no, I'm not trying to do anything, or even trying to put race into it, da, 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 da. And, so she has come out to the degree of denouncing it to a certain level.
But she ain't come out and said that I know that the only reason y'all giving me this hype is because I'm white.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Why would she do that?
Exactly. She ain't gonna say that.
Why would she do that?
That's gonna hurt the bottom line.
What you gonna say that for?
Like you said, that's the Michael Jordan political answer. Yeah. I'm not finna disrupt the bottom line. Republicans buy sneakers too.
But Alyssa Thomas, also another thing she was saying was not that people were coming up to her in her face, was on the sidelines at the game talking to her like that. People on social media was like that, right? And so I know you've made this statement on the pod and even in person, you just like, look, at the end of the day, you don't have to be on social media.
Right, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? So if your biggest gripe is people are tearing you down on social media in the comments, sending you DMs and stuff like that, like this is an easy fix. Just get off the app. You know what I'm saying? I'll block the people or do whatever, but it's such a big thing nowadays as far as your brand. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get paid off that stuff. And so now it's like, well, I don't want to have to go on here, which is another thing, to my point I was saying, I think women shoot themselves in the foot because you're not going to get the major dollars that you say you want without having this type of scrutiny, without having this type of, you know what I'm saying, people coming at you like that. Ask any NBA player when they play in Utah every game, every year. Go to Indiana.
Die, nigga, die.
The Pacers. You feel me? Like,
no, who was it they had? They had a player with they put his face on. It was like an inmate in a jumpsuit. I think it was like
Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, yeah.
And like they had like pictures of him like in like a jumpsuit. Yeah. He's like, man, I had never been to prison, but they had my face on somebody in the jumpsuit.
Had a tooth out. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Yeah. So.
Or Jalen Rose when he was with the Fab Five and they was playing like Oklahoma and the crowd was hollering ex-con, ex-con, ex-con.
This type of,
and you got to go out there and drop 31 on their ass
and be good with it, right? Yeah. And so that's my thing. I think the WNBA is headed in a great place. Like again, I think Juju gonna break the roof open over the whole league, but they got to understand that what comes with the mega attention, the mega dollars, the mega endorsements and sponsorship is going to be a lot of people coming at you sideways. Yeah. It's going to be people calling you out your name. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I like to say. It's par for the course. You feel me? And
so I'm going to say if one of my daughters ever gets to that point, they're going to be built differently. So.
They're going to be built.
They're going to already be like they're going to already be ready.
Bro, you got to.
And they're going to have the best. They're going to know how to answer any question in the interview. I'm going to have them ready.
You going to have them good.
Look, we sit up and watch King Richard religiously.
For real.
You gonna be the great because I planned for this.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's
Oh no, you the real King Richard.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be surprised. Hey, if young Abby or your niece end up being like, I'm just saying.
Them the two I'm getting out on the court.
I just want tickets.
Them the two getting on the court.
I just want to be able to say I made it to Wimbledon.
You gonna get the what it is, you gonna get the necklace, man. You gonna be coming around,
man. Look,
with the team. You know, you ain't gonna need no tickets.
On the bucket list, man. We gotta go to a Super Bowl.
Got to.
We got to attend the NBA Finals game.
Yep.
I know you don't watch wrestling like this, but you got to go to a WrestleMania.
I do want to go to WrestleMania.
I
do want to go to WrestleMania.
Like the energy is just
I do.
epic.
I do want to go to WrestleMania.
And we talked about the Fear of the Black Planet. So how about all the dudes that was with the Hurt Business in WWE? They with the other wrestling company now.
Which one?
AEW. And so
okay.
WWE owns the trademark, the Hurt Business, but they renamed it the Hurt Syndicate. And so they're in AEW, and so they've been every week they've been introducing a new person, and it's the same basic, they all coming in suited and booted, clean.
Is that the judge that's on TNT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But they it's almost like where it was with WWE versus WCW back in the day, and because they actually do have some of the better wrestlers over in AEW, but like I said, they got the Hurt Syndicate now. And we gotta go to a WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying?
Also,
World Series,
and also I gotta put on that list the U.S. Open in New York, man.
Nigga, I'll go.
I wanted to do it before Serena.
Now I don't know how much the ticket costs. You know, your money a little bit different than mine right now.
They cost a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep living now.
But you know what I'm saying? We can be around it. You feel me?
When I tell you how scandalous I am. Every time I see a Loomis truck leave, I be following them in the mail truck. I be trying to see if they gonna hit a pothole, if they gonna flip over or something like that. Because I'm not even gonna lie.
See if something gonna fall out.
Nigga, I be looking when I see cars on the side of the road, I pull over, not because I'm finna help.
Right.
I look to see if that's one of El Chapo's cars. It might be some money in that car.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie No Country for Old Men?
No.
Okay, you got to check and make sure they ain't got a GPS tracker in the bag.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, if I ever find the bag and I call you and tell you to meet me, we finna look and see if it's a tracker in the bag. And if it ain't, even if it is, I'm going to give you a good sizable portion of that.
Just give me a little bit.
Right, but no, we got to make sure we remove the tracker. We going to put that junk on the back of a truck or something, let that junk go.
Yeah.
They be searching. But I be looking for that bag, and the reason being because we got to go to these events.
Have you seen Heist 88?
Yes.
We just watched it about a month and a half ago.
Hey, you seen 1992?
I don't think I've seen
Tyrese
1992.
Movie?
1992? Oh, no, that's a new... No.
Man, that's Ray Liotta's last movie. Well, one of them.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, hey, that's nice, though.
But I thought the Heist...
88.
I thought the Heist 88, I ain't like the way it ended. I thought it should have been longer. You feel me?
It was kind of a.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I like because it's based on a true story. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. But anyway, back to what we were talking about with Caitlyn. I think that she's on the way. I think the league is on their way. But then I think they also got to be prepared for, you know what I'm saying, the great criticism.
I think everybody needs to embrace it.
What you mean?
I think Caitlyn needs to embrace it. I think that the other women need to understand what it is. And everything that y'all are doing, the flagrant fouls, the talking shit, don't be beefing with Caitlyn. Behind closed doors, y'all need to be going together. You know what I'm saying? Whatever,
right?
Girl on girl action, y'all keep doing that. But what I'm saying is, y'all need to understand what it is. And okay, we act like we don't like each other, but y'all need to be behind the doors counting that money. Because guess what? It's people who
That's what it's about, bro.
Fuck y'all niggas, that white girl hooping. And then you got black people fuck that white bitch. That's okay. Buy into all of that. Controversy sells. Controversy creates cash. Everybody buy into it. To quote our movie, Paid in Full, what you mean you not eating, B? Everybody eats. They need to buy into that. Angel Reese and Caitlyn need to buy into that. Not saying nothing needs to be rigged or nothing, but if the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever end to be, that's going to be the most watched WNBA finals ever.
Yep. WWF style. That's why I look at that.
And you know what I'm saying?
The storyline.
And the crazy thing is they don't even play the same position.
No, they don't.
But it's still like, but she's already come in and it's like, she's slick building her case.
Yep.
She's going to be one of the top power forwards in the WNBA.
For sure.
Angel Reese is, for years to come, like she's a double-double machine, just like she was in college. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, like, she set the record for double-doubles.
She broke it. Yeah, she broke it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and she's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Caitlyn Clark is only going to get better. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they need to keep with this controversy. They need to keep making this money. They don't need to get pregnant because we need y'all on the court. Or at least time it to where it's not during the season.
Yeah.
Like now is the perfect time to get knocked up because you will, the baby will be delivered and you'll be able to, get back in shape for the season.
Yeah. I say just milk it. I'm currently watching that Vince McMahon documentary.
Which goes back to my thing of not getting pregnant or getting pregnant so you can, never mind.
So you can,
I digress.
Like you said, man, just, like you said, whether you want to call it clout chase or whatever, you're building something, right? And so
you talking about the Vince McMahon documentary?
I was watching the Vince McMahon documentary
on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Okay.
And so, just as if you saw the beginning of the WWE, or WWF back then, and how he went against the grain against what his dad wanted him to do.
So does it go all the way back to when it was like the WWF?
Yeah, it go all the way back.
Worldwide Wrestling Federation, and then before it was the World Wrestling Federation. So it go all the way back to Vince McMahon Sr.
Oh, yep. Yeah,
Vince McMahon Sr.
Yeah, they did. They didn't get back to the genesis of him, but it kind of started with him and how he used to follow his dad around and how he became a good businessman because of him.
His dad. And
how he kind of stole his dad's style as far as picking a star, bigging up the star, getting the storyline. And it's crazy because, obviously I remember being back in the 80s and doing all this, but then they blended everything together, what was happening in the politics, and then during Reagan, the war. You remember the Iran guy, the wrestler, at that time.
Was the Iron Sheik.
The Iron Sheik, when during that time America was fighting against Iran, literally.
And then with Sergeant Slaughter.
Slaughter. Then they brought Hulk Hogan that came in to save the day.
Duggan with the USA flag.
Yep. And so they put that whole storyline together and pulled on the heartstrings of America, and that's how they built Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They gave him a chance on MTV, Mr. T, and they put all that stuff in there. So now I'm saying that to say that the WNBA can take a page out of that book to use what the race stuff, you know what I'm saying, to your advantage.
Money.
You know what I'm saying? And not, but behind closed doors be all, hey, you know what I'm saying? Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan going to get a beer after they finish, you know what I'm saying, fighting at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you do, but know this is for the sport of it, for the entertainment, and for us all to take care of our families.
And like you said, man, it was so serious back then. Do you know that wrestlers would get in trouble? Like, let's just say you was a face and I was a heel.
Yeah.
And we might be, like, we might have went to high school together. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people didn't know, like, Ric Flair, he was older, but, like, Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, the Road Warriors, all of them went to the same high school. And then they all end up being in, so like them folks knew each other from back in the day, but like the Road Warriors couldn't be with Rick Rude because Rick Rude was a heel and the Road Warriors was like babyface. You see what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like, so if people saw them, they'd be like, wait a second, y'all are beefing or y'all wouldn't like each other in the ring, but y'all are at a bar kicking it. And like you said, like you got to milk that, but like, it got to be kind of behind closed doors. They can't know y'all are really friends.
Right.
Because, like, you used to get, and I want to say it was like the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They got in trouble because they were in a car riding together, going from city to city. They were smoking weed. They got pulled over. And so they got arrested because they had the weed in the car. But when it made it to the news or whatever, it was like
they were together.
The Iron Sheik, and so you got Iran and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the USA flag. What were they in the car together for? They're against each other, and they was like best, homeboys or whatever. But like you said, it's kind of like that thing of like it's got to be behind closed doors. It can't be.
Just play into it, man. Because at the end of the day, the WNBA, they're trying to get the money. They're trying to get on the near the level of the NBA. So
that's not gonna happen.
You know, yeah, that's why I said near. So it's like, you know, if you can't get to
it's not sexy enough.
The billion enough, yeah, it ain't sexy enough.
I mean, because it's y'all got to combine the two things that men love. We love basketball and we love titties. Now, it's basketball. We don't see a lot of titties. No. And I'm not saying like literal breasts got to be on, but it's got to be sexy. It's not. No, it's not. I don't want to watch somebody that looks like me when I could watch somebody that actually looks like me.
Yeah. They trying though.
You see what I'm saying? So now, but if it is to where, because again, it's a lot of women who watch the NBA and they don't care anything about PER and point differential and defensive win shares. They can't tell you that. They can't explain a zone or a 1-3-1 or, you know what I'm saying, half court press. They don't know nothing about that. They just know that they think that Donovan Mitchell is more handsome than Karl Anthony Towns. That's all they know.
Pretty much.
And when Donovan Mitchell shoots, he hits a lot of shots, and that Damian Lillard, like Glorilla, like I don't care who he going with, that's all they know.
Yeah. Nah, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? And so again, like now we know the game, but like when we're watching, we like, oh dang, she cute. But like, why you look like my little brother? You know what I'm saying? Like and that's what's being pushed, and it's not enough. Women don't have any problem admitting that they like watching men because men are handsome and the dicks are swinging everywhere, but they got a problem when men are looking at asses running up and down the court and titties bouncing. And if you're getting the money and you ain't got to go in the back room with nobody and you ain't got to have 1,000 bottles of baby oil like our boy Diddy, like what difference do it make if somebody watching because they think you cute? If that increases your salary by a couple million.
I think they getting there because I've been looking at some of the games in the pregame. Now, Angel Reese, she be coming to the joint dressed crazy.
And I want to say, like,
crazy.
She talking like Lonzo Ball or something like that.
I heard something about that.
Oh, and Asia Wilson talking to Bam out of bio. Like, and see, that's why they them cheap.
Yeah. So, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming now.
Let me ask you something. Like, would you stop working at your job and you work a professional job? Would you stop working your job or feel offended because somebody wants to increase your salary because they likes the way you look in them slacks?
No, I wouldn't.
You would stop, nigga. You would get them slacks a size smaller.
I get 3 more pair.
Nigga, do you know? Do you know I stay with the postal hoochie daddy shorts on?
Yeah. Everybody say wear the hoochie daddy shorts.
Cause they give me a free slush at Dixie Queen.
Nice.
Whataburger give me extra fries, nigga. Like, hey, Mr. Mailman, like, yes, I want them fries.
Yeah. Look,
and the shorts I wear tomorrow are gonna be smaller because I want another thing of fries.
It's nice.
Cause I ain't gotta pay for them.
And you think,
cause nigga, if you knew, well, you know what my mortgage is, but like nigga, my mortgage, like nigga, I got to work at the post office, do security, give plasma, blood, and depending on what time of the day, you might see me walking up and down Lamar. Nigga, that's how high my mortgage is. So you don't think I'm wearing them small shorts to get them free fries from Whataburger?
Yeah.
But y'all getting paid tens of thousands, 20s of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You got a problem because somebody say you cute.
They getting there. That's all I can say. I think they getting there. Now, on this note here, I'm a lead on this. Now, you know this is 2024, you know, and so we are in an
election year.
We are in an election year. Which is
amazing why we got all this Diddy stuff in an election year.
Hey, okay. You know what I'm saying? So
I just want to throw that out.
It's a lot going on, and so you know, originally I was like, look, at the end of the day, this is how I view it, man. Because I told myself I wasn't even gonna say that much on social media or Facebook or whatever, right?
I've been watching your post. You've been in
there. But you know, it's tough.
$750.
$750. So it's tough. It's tough to look at the whole landscape and not to be like. I get when people, you know, they don't want to get involved or do anything like that, but it's the difference between the two, between Trump and Kamala, is so, I think, drastic, right? And so I'm thinking that not only are we like, it's important, like, I do want to point this out too. Like people like Rizza Islam, people like 19 Keys, even I don't know if the prophetess Tiffany Montgomery. I don't know if you heard of her before. Like
Sipshack.
Yeah, this dude here. Now, I mentioned those three because they all are in the lane of, they're not going to vote. You know what I'm saying? That da.
My niggas.
Right, and so I'm not. Tell the truth, I'm not even mad, but I tell people to caution for that because, like me, I'm in the government industry. You know what I'm saying? We're in the system of America, correct? Mm-hmm. And so now, but if you look at both of their economic plans, they're going to make a difference in how we function as far as like wages, inflation, economic stuff in that nature. So I think it's important, given in that, and me being now if you say Trump supporter, I won't have an issue with that, right? But I would say put another word in there, correct? Put another word. Put Trump policy supporter.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, put.
He right there with your boy.
Yeah,
not too far behind, baby. Or
give me.
He actually got convicted.
Yeah,
and they changed it, but no.
Now
he's a whole rapist. According to what they said.
I'm with the policy, so okay. I'm not even about whatever with the personality. So when the stuff that's been happening, they had a debate. The vice presidents had their debate, and so I don't think many people. At the end of the day, all this is just mess anyway because people already know if they're going to vote, who they're going to vote for. At this point, even 2 or 3 months ago, everybody already knew who they was going to vote for and probably why. You may have some people teetering on the line, so pretty much all the stuff you're talking is just, just nonsense because it's not like you're going to sway me, I'm not going to sway you. But I will say that I think it is important for people to participate. The national election, whatever, I think the local election, is pretty much, where we kind of mostly need to really get involved in that because that's where that's the main part that's going to move the needle on the national level because who you get for your city councilman, who you actually vote for your state to represent you in Congress in D.C. is the one that's going to move the needle to push whatever other bills, legislation, economic policy, the Inflation Stuff Act and all that stuff. And so although this election, I believe, is important and we all need to be involved, and it's clear who I'm, etching toward. But I look at it as, I think I put this on social media as well. I look at it as one person is going to put a thick Band-Aid on a bullet wound, okay? And I think that person is Trump. I also think Kamala, she's just like, you're not putting anything on that bullet wound. You're just going to let that junk bleed out. You know what I mean? And it's just going to happen more quickly. You know what I'm saying? And so this is really how I view it. You know what I'm saying? Right, wrong, or indifferent, depending on your perspective of who you are. So I can talk on the spiritual side, but even economically, speaking, tax-wise, I think is clear on which way you need to go. I think even Trump was talking about putting about if he got elected, he got something in place to where he's going to put no taxes on the overtime. Yeah. So that meaning if you getting overtime, whatever, it's going to be no taxes, whatever, on that.
Man, them niggas still ain't gave me my money yet, so I believe it when I see that.
So
we was talking about that off camera.
Yeah, we were. So, but like I said, it's too much to say about that. And I did put out, and I'm gonna start putting out, more executive mindset. What I want to do this season, I didn't put this out in the beginning, to where we're gonna obviously do what we do on Tuesday, but then I also want to put out a couple days a week of what's going on.
I just wanted to show you that because even though I don't believe in group chats, you see them in a whole group chat, and that's what they talking about.
Wow.
But that's what they, and you met a couple of those people.
Yeah.
But that's what they talking about.
They were talking about. Okay.
That's what that. So like, even if I don't want to hear, and I don't like now, if you look at it, I ain't responding.
Right.
I watch it.
Yeah.
I ain't respond. But to your point.
But I like I said, I get it just because. But even some of those comments I saw, I would ask them why you think that. Mm-hmm. What did you see in a policy other than an actual clip that make you believe one of those things? But I do want to say that the only thing, just I agree a lot to what you be talking about as far as like the system, the stuff is rigged, and it's like to where we going to this new hurricane stuff. Helene, I'm saying Helena, whatever it is,
Right.
Then Milton, FEMA only giving $750 even as the initial help, right? And so, but even with that, you have to qualify for that. It's been people online that I've been looking at, even videos. A lot of people, they're not even qualifying for the 750. You got to qualify with, I don't know, you got to have this much damage to your house. You got to be done and so, but a lot of that money has been going to the illegal immigrants been coming into the U.S. And so that's a whole nother thing. But I did want to point out and say that this is an important election. Now, whether you vote or whether you don't vote, you know what I'm saying? Just and I talked to OD Darrell too. We talked about this too on the phone too. He really doing some big stuff money wise, and we talked about that. He wanted to know my view on what I thought about economic wise on each candidate. But I do. I think if you're in the system, I think if you're, you know what I'm saying, working any type of in government or anything like that, you really need to look at both sides of the economic plan. Morally, I can't even fool with the Democrats morally, but even at this point, economic wise, moving that inflation back to where it needs to go. And then I put it also on there, the taxes. You know what I'm saying? You going with the taxes. Like I said, I got a homie I went to Craig went. He has a big business now. He makes a lot of money, and talk to him about this just to see his view on it. They're trying to, on the other side, tax the billionaires and millionaires on unrealized gains, right? And so if you tax people on their unrealized gains, just saying you're taxing people on money that they haven't benefited or profited on yet, right? And so if you tax me $50 million on my unrealized gains, and was Jeff Bezos, from Amazon, right? So you taxing him $50 million, that not even from his profits, from profits that he may get later on. What do you think? What's gonna happen, right? He's gonna have to cut losses somewhere at some point. He ain't gonna take that $50-60 million on unrealized gains that he hasn't profited with yet without making a cut. And where those cuts usually happen? Employees. They come with employees and other stuff like that. So that's why I was saying look at the details when it comes to stuff like that, because all the little talking points and the other stuff like that, it's all what you had in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, that's good candy. You feel me? To kind of chew on, but it's not really nothing of substance that's really probably that it's going to really benefit you though. So that was my spiel, man. That was my spiel.
I mean, like,
it's pretty more.
So I don't have any sympathy for billionaires. And I say this because in order to spend $1 billion, $1 billion, in your lifetime, you would have to spend $370,000 every day for 365 days a year, including leap years, for 70 years. So now you talking about you getting taxed or whatever, like that's
but not on that money though.
But what I'm saying is
not on that money.
But that's not even out of like $1 billion. That's not, in some cases, that's not even a year's worth of profits. 370,000 is not even a year worth of profits.
I agree.
You would have to do that every day for a year, for 70 years to get to $1 billion. Mm-hmm. So now if I lost $370,000 in a year, in order for me to spend $1 billion, I'd have to lose that every single day for 70 years. To get to $1 billion. So the bottom line is, when you start counting the profits, even if it's like, oh, I lost $1 million, I lost 10 million, what you make in profits, what you will continually make, the greed level of some, like, I've been to a lot of funerals. I've never seen a Brinks truck following a hearse. We were joking about a few minutes ago about the Loomis truck. I've never seen a Loomis truck following nobody's funeral procession. We can't take none of it with us.
Right.
9 times out of 10, like even this old money, like some of these folks that got old money, their grandkids are fucking it up royally, but they're still, worst case scenario, gonna be millionaires because their great granddaddies did some billionaire shit. So even when you fuck it up, your great grandkids are still gonna be considered wealthy. Even if they lost a bit, they're still 7, 8, 9 generations. They're still considered wealthy. And so now you got people who are tripping, and like you're talking about, they're cutting losses, but they're cutting losses from people who will never see that level of income. And so, like, the way they play with people's lives like it ain't real is disgusting to me. The reason, like I said, with me and the not voting, like I said, I was a part of the council. You notice nobody talked about 8 Ball and MJG getting a street named after them in Orange Mountain. I was a part of the committee that did that in Memphis. Ask Representative Rhonda Logan. When we were doing our Zoom meetings, I was at work in the mail truck in Collierville, and every time we did it, and a couple of times I was the one who led the prayer, every time they was like, oh, we see you, Mr. Ragland, you at work, but you still here. We at home. And they see me in the mail truck. Oh, we see you delivering packages. Everybody else at the crib. I'm in the mail truck. And we're having a meeting talking about which streets we're changing because, well, this person is associated with slavery and this is problematic. So this person is associated with the white power structure. So we're changing. I was a part of that. I did that. I was out in the rain for John Kerry. And Al Gore. Like I did, that's me. I'm not talking about my family, I'm talking about me personally. I campaigned for President Obama personally. You see what I'm saying? So
believe it or not, I did too in 08.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So now that's for me personally. But like again with my family, and I've shared this on several pods ago. Like my uncle, my cousin Joseph, his dad had to. The reason why he went to Nashville because the police were looking for him because they said he incited a riot after Dr. King got assassinated. My Uncle John. My dad's brother, who my brother Paco is named after, the one who passed away, they were after him because they said they incited a riot after Dr. King got assassinated because my family was a part of the planning committee when he was about to do the sanitation worker strike here. They were on the front lines of that. The first black busing that was done here was my Uncle Robert, B. Hall's granddaddy. Like we've been in there. Like for years, so like I come from that. I come from the vote or die. So I've been on the front lines of that, and I've seen insanity. We've been doing the same thing since the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and even me. And no result, no change. So now, do I keep being insane? So that's why I'm not saying, like, hey, your light, your walk is different. I can't tell you what to do. No. I'm speaking for me as an individual.
Right.
So that's why I don't. In terms of the Republican-Democrat thing, I'm going to quote a line from my OG, Corey Sullivan, a.k.a. Corey Red. He said this back when the first time Obama was running. He said, 8 years of Bush equals 4 more pain, regardless who's the president, Barack or McCain. Who's ever in the hot seat is going to get the blame while the next candidate is screaming, we need change. That ain't changed since that was back in 08. And we had 8 years of Bush. And he was saying 8 years of Bush equals 4 more pain, regardless who's the president, whether it's Barack or McCain. Whichever person is the next person is going to get blamed for the previous 8 years, while the next person coming up is going to be screaming, we need change. And that's what's happening. Right. Everybody, and it's the same process every 4 years. Everybody's saying, like, so now when Trump lost to Biden was saying that, oh, well, the reason why stuff changed is Trump's fault and we got to change. And everybody's like, yeah, you know what? Let's get something different from Trump. And so now we get Biden and we see it's some more bullshit and we need something different. This nigga don't know who the fuck he is when he doing speeches. He forget everybody. He don't know his own name.
But now it's more like even what VP Kamala is doing. She's talking about change, but she the one been in office the last 4 years.
I don't want to talk about that idiot.
Which is what it is.
I don't want to talk about somebody who, when I watch her, if you've seen the movie Tropic Thunder, when I watch her, I'm watching Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. I'm watching Kirk Lazarus play as the Sergeant Lincoln Osiris in Tropic Thunder. I'm watching somebody cosplay as a black person. I'm watching some idiot talk about cooking collard greens in a damn bathtub, and my grandma been cooking collard greens, and I've never seen no motherfucking cook no damn collard greens in no bathtub. I watch her on All the Smoke talking about driving in her friend's Cutlass. And if that's the goofy shit when y'all talk about Chucks and Pearls and all that shit with somebody who's been an Indian her whole political career, which I don't give, one of my closest homeboys, you know. Shout out to my guy Nod. Straight up 100% Indian.
Yo.
I don't give a fuck if you're Indian. A Nod ain't invited to the barbecue. A Nod hosting the barbecue, like Todd. Give a fuck about you being in. That's my guy. But Anad ain't never tried to act like he was black. Anad ain't never denied he was an Indian. Anad ain't never said like, he ain't never cosplayed as nobody black. Anad is straight up Indian. Yeah. So now Kamala has been Indian when it's convenient.
She's a Swiss rock.
But now
she's a chameleon.
I went to an HBCU. Now my homegirl cooked collard greens. Now we used to ride in my homegirl's Cutlass, and we used to go and we went to this concert and da-da-da-da-da, and everybody's talking about she a woman of color. Let's keep it a bean. Every fucking person in the United States, in the world, is a person of color. White people turn more colors than everybody else. But whether you Hispanic, whether you Indian, whether you Asian, whether you're Caucasian, like all of us are colored. So let's stop with this woman of color bullshit. Let's stop with this all black women need to be protected bullshit. And we gonna talk about this on another episode. But black women are not the most disrespected person on the face of the planet. That's some bullshit. And we're not even gonna deal with that on this episode. But like, I listen.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Man, you made some good bullshit. But I was like, before you even said something, I was like, that's some bullshit.
Yep.
But now you want to jump on the black woman bandwagon. So we're not even going to deal with Kirk Lazarus from Tropic Thunder. We're not even going to deal with that. But like I said, at the same time, I came because these same Republicans, that's why we watch Snowfall. We got a whole show dedicated to how you all brought crack cocaine in to destroy a particular community, and especially a political organization who is not much different than this podcast, which decides to tell the truth to the people. Yeah. And they said, we got to shut y'all down. That's what they did. The same group of people that were sterilizing women back in Mississippi with Fannie Lou Hamer. This same group of people that were doing the Tuskegee experiments trying to see what syphilis would do to people. This same group of people that instituted MK Ultra, in which we got Charles Manson and the Unabomber from. And this is all the Republican Party. So now, again, I'm not so much stuck on the personalities, but I'm looking at the fruit of, and you know a tree by the fruit. So now, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not looking at the Democrats because y'all ain't growing shit. At all. Nothing is coming. But when I'm looking at the Republicans and y'all fruit, I'm looking at the tree, and it's literal shit growing from the tree. So I'm looking at a pile of shit, and I'm looking at a tree with a bunch of shit hanging from it. Shit is shit at the end of the day. And so for me, and I'm not saying, again, everybody got to do their due diligence, do your research, know your history, but I'm just looking at it, and my dad used to have a saying where he said, it's like saying you got 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other, and we arguing. And that's essentially what's happening. We're arguing over the difference between 6 and half a dozen, and a dozen is 12, half of a dozen is 6, and so we're arguing the difference between, we're playing a word game. And at the end of the day, they are all a part of the same agenda, right wing, left wing, same bird. At the end of the day, we're arguing amongst ourselves, and the whole point is to keep us divided instead of us pointing back the finger at you all are supposed to be employed by us. I should not be arguing with you. We should be pointing at them and saying, your values, you should be asking them, how come I'm not getting my values? I should be asking them, how come I'm not getting my values? Now, granted, sometimes it's not going to always be 100%, but at some point it should be close. And that's all I'm saying. Like, and it's not, we're arguing amongst ourselves, but the whole time we should be pointing the finger back. Wait a second, you work for us. You work for the right and the left. How come it ain't no more prayer in schools?
Yeah.
How come it ain't okay if we're talking about the like let's define, okay, again, if we're talking about it, we get stuck on the abortion, but we can't even decide what really is an abortion. At what point does it start? Does it start at conception? Does it start at so many weeks? Is the Plan B legal? If that's the case, why are we buying condoms? Because that's slick aborting the baby before it's even born, because you're not even allowing the swimmers to jump in the pool. Like, what are we doing? Like, if we're going to really talk about it, let's go there. Because if that's the case, then let's ban condoms, let's ban all form of contraceptives, let's ban birth control, but we ain't going to do that. But that affects the right and the left. Because it's a lot of us that would have, how many kids would you have if you didn't wear condoms? So then, again, so now, what are we talking about? We talking about this, because that's abortion before the abortion.
Plan B.
I mean, think about it. In the Bible, when God struck the guy down for pulling out and spilling the seed on the carpet, that ain't no different than a condom. That ain't no. That's the first pull-out game. So now, like if that's what we're really on, and we're stuck on abortion and like, okay, well then, let's go. Okay, what about condoms? What about the IE or IUD, whatever it's called? What about the Moderna? What about all that stuff? Because that's preventing the natural flow of things if we're talking about that. A lot of these Republicans aren't anti this stuff because John McCain even said, I have a lesbian daughter. I'm not voting against anything that goes against my daughter. I believe Dick Cheney had and said, fuck this policy, I'm riding with my daughter. And so now here we are arguing about moral stuff, and the people who represent this policy are saying, I don't give a damn about this policy. I'm riding with my family. And we sitting up here arguing amongst each other while the people in charge are like, hey, I really don't care about this policy we forcing down y'all throat, because when it come to my family, I'm rocking with my family. But we sitting up here arguing about policy, and they like, hey, I'm gonna be the break and vote, because I ain't going against my daughter. I ain't going against my son. My son like sticking his dick up buttholes. I'm rocking with my son.
And I would love to talk about policy, but that in a perfect world, that's never even the argument. The argument is always pushed back either on race, about some other information, a conclusion that you get from a clip or doing something like that. So I think the conversation needs to be about policy. I think it's never about policy. It's pretty much a beauty contest. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing is about a beauty contest because now he doesn't talk more diplomatic, you know what I'm saying, like I like it. She's more, calm and smooth with that. And I was talking to my wife about it. I think people they look at this political sphere and realm like you got to sleep with these folks, or that like you're gonna actually be friends with them and go to dinner with them. I want to have a beer with President Obama. This nigga will shoot you if you got anywhere close to his house, and you voted for him all 2 times, however many times he did. You know what I'm saying? Like. But this dude would have the Secret Service put you dead out if you get close to his house. But people treat politicians now just like, oh, I really like Kamala. I would love to sit down with her and cook some greens with her, or do something like that.
Damn bathtub.
I don't like Trump because he talks this way. I'm just like, at the end of the day, if your boss is talking to you this way, but the check is still coming and he not doing, what is the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I look at this stuff, because I think a lot of people personalize this whole thing, because now I came up with a theory, not even a theory, just observing. People look at the presidential stuff, especially in this social media days, like they're looking at reality TV, like the Truman Show or something like that, right? Like that, we don't even look at this stuff like what is kind of really happening. We look at the same stuff. We look at this Love is Blind show. We like his personality. Oh, why they do John like that? Well, why they do Sarah like that? You know what I'm saying? We look at clips of these politicians and we try to get their personality, and we try to get, okay, their verbiage. If they speak well, that means they'll do a great job. But that don't mean anything at all. And so what I try to get people to realize, even just to think about, what policies are you for? What policies are you against? But then not even that. Do you even vote in your local elections? We had one here 2 months ago. I think about 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? I think that was more important because that put people in the house that's actually going to be steering the ship to whatever, you know what I'm saying, whoever get in office. So, like I said, I think this whole thing.
And to that point that you just said, though, JB, we're supposed to be voting on policy.
Supposed to.
Only.
Supposed to.
Not parties, not persons. We have scriptural reference of what happens when people vote for a person. When Jesus had to go versus Barabbas, the people showed you, because Barabbas fit the policy. We want to overthrow the Roman government. He was a political prisoner. He wasn't just a murderer. He had killed somebody who was an official in Rome. He fits what we're trying to do. This person talking about peace and love and da-da-da does not fit what we're trying to do. So we got to go with the person. And even Pilate is like, this dude ain't did nothing wrong. Like, let me wash my hands of this. Judas saw the error of his ways because Iscariot means sons of Carioth. They were a political organization. You had the Pharisees, you had the Sadducees, you had the Essenes, and you had the Iscariots. They were all political organizations. They were all representatives of different things that were looking to come into political power. And the Iscariots were also known as the Zealots. That was what they were called. So instead of Iscariots, they were known as the Zealots. But they were people who were like, they were extremists. They were people like, by any means, that like, they was like, we got to do violence, we got to kill niggas. Like, that's what they was on. That is why when he went with all them soldiers and he was like, I'm going to show you, because he was expecting for Jesus. Like, this is the same dude I saw walk on water. This is the same dude I saw take 5 loaves and 2 fish and make it into a whole seafood platter. This is the same man I saw cast. So I already know when I go up to him and I got all these soldiers, he finna turn up. And he looked you in your face and said, if I wanted to, I could call down 12 legions. I'm giving myself to you. And at that moment, he realized, oh, shit, I fucked up. I didn't realize who I was dealing with. And so, if we're talking about the kingdom ain't concerned with neither one of these parties. The kingdom ain't concerned. The only policies we're concerned with is, are you going to allow this particular thing to happen? Yes, we vote on that. Do you want your guns to be, okay, we're going to vote on that. Do you want, yeah, we're going to vote on that. But we not voting for no person because we can't trust you, because y'all are selling y'all soul to the highest bidder. Y'all are selling y'all soul to whoever got the most money. Y'all are selling y'all soul for whatever's popular at the moment. I can't trust a Republican or a Democrat, because y'all have proven throughout history that neither one of y'all are untrustworthy. And y'all make it sound good because y'all talk about how much money y'all saving us. Y'all talk about taxes. But if you read the scripture in the book of Revelation, how is the Antichrist, how is the beast going to come through? It's through a political organization.
No doubt.
And so now if we're sitting up caught up in this vote, we're going to vote in the same person that is going to bring about the tribulation. And if we're stuck on that, we're going to bring about our own destruction. And the only way you cannot lose the game is if you don't play. And so now if I tell you to do that and you keep that same energy, it may not happen in our lifetime, but our children are going to vote in their same destruction because they're keeping on the same energy that Pops got. I'm going to do what my daddy did. And so now when they come, just like when they came, just like they convinced our parents, and I can say our parents because both of them did, just like they convinced them. And that's what the experiment was. If we can fearmonger you into taking this thing, if we can fearmonger you into voting for this person, 69 countries have already signed in a law right now. I've been studying it because they're already trying to get the one world government in. Political.
Yeah. Been knowing
so
this.
that's what I'm saying. So I can't go for, oh, well, this person is best for me, because at the end of the day, my money ain't going to matter, because right now the dollar ain't worth shit. if we keeping it a buck, the euro's worth more than the dollar. Mm-hmm. You got countries that don't even want to take the dollar because the dollar ain't all this stuff we working on. You try to take it to another country, ain't worth shit. So now I'm voting for something and someone who at the end of the day is really not benefiting me anything. If they want to shut everything down, Diddy proved that. If we want to freeze your assets, all this money you got, we can freeze your... Hold up, it's my money, but we can freeze your assets.
That's why he took that joint overseas with a lot of it.
The comedian, his name is Josh Johnson, but he made a line. He was like, he said Diddy thought he was invincible, and he's like, the government was like, nigga, we killed MLK and Malcolm X and John F. Kennedy. Like, you think your money means something? Like, nigga, we killed the president. Yeah. And so that's all I'm saying. It's same, and he was one of them. Joe Kennedy, his daddy was one of them. Joe Kennedy was with Prescott Bush, who was the first Bush's daddy. He was with all them. He was with Al Capone and Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky and all of them. Yep. And so that's all I'm saying. Like, they go back to that. So now, if we see throughout history this system is corrupt, these powers that be are corrupt, and we're going with this stuff, and even the scripture tells us this is the way we gonna get y'all. It's two ways. We're going to get y'all with this political system. We're going to get y'all with y'all faith. So y'all need to stay on y'all faith. Make sure you know what's in the book. Make sure you know what my name is. And I tell people, like, now I done started telling people, if you say the name of your God is God, we don't serve the same God. If you can't tell me what his name is, because your name ain't man, your name ain't dad, your name ain't husband, your name is Jamal, your name JB. If I can't say your name, I don't know you. So now when we talking about our daddy and you can't say his name, he just God. Everybody say God. If you don't know his name, we ain't talking about the same person. You don't serve the same God I serve. You ever wonder why when old girl got assassinated by the police and she said, I rebuke her in the name of Jesus, and she still got shot? You know why? Because that ain't his name. Our Messiah was not Hispanic.
Yeah.
She didn't say, I rebuke you in the name of Yahusha. She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Well, I know a lot of Jesuses. A dude named Jesus changed my alternator out. And that's why when people say, oh, I rebuked him in the name of Jesus, because that ain't his name. And so now if we don't understand that the way this system is going to change is through politics and faith, and so I'm still telling people to vote, and that's the very thing that they're going to use to end us. I can't be no part of that, and we steady playing. We ain't even realizing God, or rather, Yah is showing us, and we keep seeing it every 4 years. He's showing us every 4 years, like, don't trust in it, just like he told them when they wanted a king, and he said, y'all don't need a king, but no, we need one, so he gave them King Saul. And at the end of it, he was like, I was trying to tell y'all only need me, but I'm trying to show y'all that these men keep failing y'all. And everybody is like, we say men, person, no, but each man represented a different policy. Saul was a different policy than David. David was a different policy than Solomon. Solomon was a different policy. He had Rehoboam, like all these different son names, but essentially they represented a different policy. And what he was trying to show them is you don't need, and when Yahusha the Messiah came, he was trying to say, hey, look, you didn't need all of that. This is the fulfillment of all of that. You needed him. You don't need this representative or this policy. You need him. And as a believer, as a follower of the way, as one of the Yahudim, we are supposed to be looking at that, not this money that we can't take with us. Not these representatives of this flawed policy that screws over somebody. And people who look like us get screwed all the time. If you going Republican, if you going Democrat, then people who say they believe in the faith get screwed. So take your pick. You get screwed because you look like you, or you get screwed because you believe him. Which one?
How I look at it, you work within the system, man. I mean, you work. If you thinking that somebody's a political savior that's going to, save everything and make things perfect, that's not going to happen. until Jesus get back on earth and rule for another 1,000 years at the end of the day.
But how did he say to deal with that, though? What did he tell us to do in terms of that? The
What you
only
mean?
thing he told us to do in terms of that.
In terms of what?
In terms of political system.
He told us to work within the government.
No, he told us to pay our taxes.
Okay, but
That's it.
That's within the.
That's it.
That's
He
within
didn't
the government.
say vote. He said pay the taxes because they asked, since we don't follow this kingdom, should we pay tax? Because they're acknowledging we ain't with this. So are we supposed to pay taxes because we not with this?
Did he say not vote?
No, he said pay your taxes.
Okay, but did he say not
No,
vote?
but he acknowledged when he said that, he acknowledged, I don't care nothing about this system, but he said, who faces on the dollar?
Right.
Caesar. So pay your taxes.
You don't have to care about it.
But I'm not a part of this.
You are part of it.
No, I'm not a part of this.
You're part of the system.
No, I'm not a part of this.
You work for the system.
No, I'm not a part of this.
You work for the system.
But I'm not a part of that.
Okay.
So my job is not to encourage or to endorse that. My job, because I do live in this system, we are not of this world.
Correct.
I'm not of this system, but I'm in this. So I'll pay my taxes, but I'm not going to participate in the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not of it. Meaning I don't operate in the way it operates. But now because I am taking up a space, I'm gonna pay because I take up in the space. But you're not finna get me arguing back and forth about it. You're not finna get me invested in it.
Yeah, arguing is on a personal level. But as far as like you being in this world and not of it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in heaven, we ain't gonna be married, but we married down here. You know what I'm saying? And other spheres and realms and stuff like that. And so it's like, you know, to each his own. Like I don't vote.
But he gave that specifically for us down here.
Correct.
When that system came into place down here, he told the children of Israel, y'all do not need that. They wanted to say, we want a king just like everybody else. Everybody else got a king. We want a king. And he's like, y'all don't need a king. Y'all got me. I am the King of Kings. No, we need a representative. We need us a policy. We need a spokesperson. Like y'all got me. Y'all got the 10 Commandments. Y'all got the law. That's all y'all need. No, we need something else. We need something more than that. And so the reason why he gave, just like when he gave the law to show men that we can't keep the law, he gave us these physical representations of people and of personalities and of parties to show that it's flawed. And our faith can't be in that. And we can't be going into that. We can't be looking after that. And again, the reason why Jesus, or rather Yahusha, was such a controversial figure is because he was totally anti that. The Pharisees didn't like him because he did not push their political agenda. The Sadducees did not like him because he did not push their political agenda. The Essenes did not like him because he did not push their political agenda. And the Zealots didn't like him because he didn't push their political agenda. Now, there were 4 political parties. We only got 2 over here. But if Jesus existed today, he would be somebody like Malcolm X, who they would try to assassinate because he's not pushing their political agenda, because he's basically saying, do not get involved in that. Treat each other the right way. Do the right things. Respect the government. Even though you don't participate in it, respect it, honor it.
But how do you respect it if you don't? My thing is you're a part of this system. We didn't ask for any of this stuff. We're in this world, correct? We're in this world. We're not of it. So
can you respect a homosexual without being a homosexual?
Yeah, I can.
Can you respect a lesbian without being a lesbian?
Yeah.
Can you respect a police officer without being in law enforcement?
It's levels of respect.
So can I respect the government without voting?
No.
Yes, you can.
I don't think you can.
You can.
I don't think you can.
If the law says that I'm supposed to drive 55 miles an hour on this expressway, I respect the law by driving 55 miles on the expressway, even though if I did not vote for the person who came up with that. Or when I see you, I address you as a man or a woman, and I don't cuss you out and throw stones at you or whatever. I can treat you as a human being without having voted for you.
To me, when I look at respect, I see respect as just respect, just like if you respect your parents, like what do you do when you respect your parents? Like what do you do? Like is it you respect them because okay, you my dad, you my mom, I respect you, or is it like you wash the dishes because you respect your mom and dad's orders or something like that? You respect your mom and dad
just
by
like with the speed limit because that's what they told you to do.
Coming back into the house at whatever your curfew is.
Because that's what they told you to do.
11 or
like
12 o'clock
limit.
with that. Okay. And so on the flip side, if you want to be an entrepreneur and there are laws and legislation within those, there are specific things within whatever these parties that is going to be for you and actually help you. Now, if you're just okay with being just a part of the system and being whatever, you're not going to care. But if you have aspirations, you have, want to say dreams or whatnot, because that's the people I've been talking to, like entrepreneurial people, like there's a stark difference between one of the two. Not saying that it's going to be perfect and you can pick holes and whatever else, but it's going to help. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help. Now, you can say that, okay, you not participating. Now, anybody that votes in thinking that's their all in all and that person is going to save them, of course not. That's not even the perspective I'm coming from personally. I know people that actually probably think that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm voting as in just, look, this is the person I believe that will, one, morally hold things together a little bit more than this person, hold things back just a little bit, just like one side is trying to redefine family. One side wants to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. One side wants
that's a smoke screen.
A 21-year-old dude in the same daughter as the same one as my daughter would be in.
That's a smoke screen.
What do you mean a smoke
screen? They don't believe that. That's just something to get us riled up, to argue with amongst ourselves, to go beyond the real scope of what they're trying to do. They don't care nothing about that.
I don't know if they care about it.
They don't care nothing about that, and they don't care. They're not pushing that.
They're doing it.
They're not pushing that.
They're doing it,
okay,
though.
but this is what I'm saying. So now
they're not just talking about it.
Obama passed his stuff that helped all this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But John McCain, had he been elected, said, I'm going to do everything. Barack never said I'm going to do it. He did it once he got in. But McCain flatline said, if you elect me, the first thing I'm going to do is this. Because of my daughter. The very first thing that I do when I get elected is this, because of my daughter.
Okay.
So now you got somebody who didn't say, and that's all I've been saying, the fox and the wolf. You got somebody who didn't say they was going to do it. But then once they got in, they did it. And then you got somebody who flat foot telling you, oh, if you put me in the game, this is what I'm going to do. Go on pass me the ball and watch what I do. Like Andre 3000, that movie be cool. Don't give me no gun then. You know what I'm going to do. You don't want me to shoot nobody. Don't give me no gun because you know all I want to do. Shoot. He said, the first thing that I do, Dick Cheney, when he was with Bush, said the first thing because of his kids that I'm going to do. These are Republicans who are so-called trying to build family. And what that tells me is that y'all all on the same side. But y'all are doing stuff that triggers us to make us vote a certain way, to get a certain reaction, to do a certain thing. And y'all don't even really believe the stuff y'all saying.
I don't care if they believe it, right? They putting it into law. How is it smoke and mirrors when stuff is actually happening?
For policy, not people, not party.
Correct.
When you put the law up, I'm going to go and vote against this law. But I'm not trusting none of you niggas because y'all all crooked. And so when it comes to a certain, do you all want A, B, or C? Yes, I'm going to vote for A, B, or C. But now you say, hey, do you want me to represent? No, I'm good on you. I'm good on this so-called policy. I'm good on all this because all of y'all crooked. Because y'all Republican, first chance y'all get, y'all will be hanging me from a tree. First chance y'all get, y'all will be Emmett Tilling me. First chance y'all get, y'all will be Malcolm X and Martin Luther King in me. So I can't trust y'all. Because anybody who looks like me, no matter how much money I get, and we talked about this earlier, Because if you P. Diddy or if you're Bill Cosby or if you're Michael Jackson, we know what y'all gonna do. And think about how many black people we can name, but all we got for them is Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. That's all we got, and Roman Polanski. And it's amazing to me that all of them are quote-unquote so-called Jewish guys. And we know that the real, European Jewish guys, we know that the real ones are Hebrews. So, but that's the only ones y'all get. That's the only ones y'all get. Yeah. But, man, we can go down the line of people who look like us that they done got. And some of them ain't even got as much money as them. We can go down Mike Tyson. We go down Kanye. We go down Michael Jordan. We can go down everybody that looks like us that y'all get. Y'all make it a point to make an example out of us. So I can't trust you because first chance you get, you're going to cut my throat. But at the same time, now I'm not rocking with the other people either because I already know that y'all with the shit. I can't trust none of y'all.
Yeah, you ain't got to trust them.
And so what I'm saying is if I'm telling you I drink probably more than a lot of people. But you kick it with me. You've been out with me out. You ain't never seen me falling over no table. You ain't never seen me with no DUI. You've never seen me disrespect nobody. I know what to do with I know my limits. I know how to handle it. But you know what I'll never do? I'll never tell nobody else to drink. That's what I'm on. That's my choice. Uh-huh. And so even if it can be harmful to somebody, that's what I want to do. And that's how I feel about voting. If you want to do that, your position should be, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. But I'm not going to tell you to do it. You got to come to your own due diligence on that.
Right.
But what I'm saying, what you're doing, though, is you're saying I drink. And because I drink, you should drink too. And these are the virtues of drinking. And this is the good stuff that'll happen when you drink.
I'm saying,
and that's what you say. Even though Jesus did not endorse it, he was crucified because he did not endorse it. When they had an opportunity, when he was put up in a position to do that, they basically did that. He was put in a vote, and the scripture showed you what happened. And nothing that Jesus went through is nothing like Trump or Kamala or nobody else. You're talking about a flawless individual. Jesus never grabbed nobody by the pussy. Jesus never was convicted of sexual assault. As a matter of fact, Jesus, when somebody was caught in a sexual act, said, throw it at me. I ain't never seen Trump do that. Why? Trump incites a riot and has no accountability for it. We can talk about what we want. He incited January 6th and took no accountability for it, made no apology for it. And if that was a nigga that did that, this nigga be done. And we can sit up here and talk about, talk about they stole it. They ain't steal no election. Nigga, you lost. Just like you won.
Yeah,
it happened.
How did he incite a riot?
Because he said, we're going to storm the Capitol. We're going to take, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Go back and look it up. He said, we're going to look it up right now. We're going to take it back. We can't allow this to happen. No. And da-da-da-da. He incited it.
He didn't do that, right?
Okay, so now go back and look at any of Hitler's speeches. Hitler never said, we're going to do A, B, C, X, Y, and C. All he did was insinuate and allude. But when you incite something, you don't have to tell somebody to shoot somebody. All you have to do is put the gun in somebody's hand.
Okay, so if he incited that, then could you say that Kamala and the other side incited people to assassinate Trump?
Definitely.
So they incited people. Okay, but it's not looked at the same.
And no matter the way to look at it. See, you're talking to somebody that acknowledges the bullshit on both sides. You ain't talking to somebody that makes excuses. I fuck Kamala, fuck the Democrats, fuck Joe Biden, fuck Bill Clinton, fuck any of the Barack Obama. I said it. My phone ain't working no way, so I don't know what else they can do to me. All I'm saying is I don't rock with any of them, but I also am not rocking with the Ronald Reagan who introduced all this shit that killed all the Black Panthers and put them in jail. The first George Bush that was a part of Iran-Contra, as well as his dad that was a part of being a Hitler sympathizer and paying for all that money in Nazi Germany, or rather sending steel to Nazi Germany. Yeah. So this is what we talk about. The same Republicans that assassinated Kennedy.
Yeah.
We talking about morality? But y'all killed one of y'all own. But you're moral?
You got to look at every situation.
Because we talking about abortion?
We got to look
and gay marriage? But you killing black people?
Hold on. We got to look at every situation as it is, because I don't like the stuff that you talking with that, because the same people look at the church the exact same way. They don't mess with the church because of history. Oh, this person did this. Oh, that person did that. And so they just wash their hands of the whole thing and not actually getting in the depths of it and taking every situation or every church or every person that you meet as this one person, as stuff is. You're not taking it as whatever with a whole.
And to your point, you're absolutely right. And when you study the history of the faith and of the way, you see where there was a clear divide. You see where there was assimilation. You see that where people came in and took over. And like I said, we celebrate Christmas, but we don't talk about, like you said, we look at the history, but we don't look at how they came in and did that to assimilate, to try to take over, to do that. We don't look at that because we're so caught up in trying to celebrate Christmas. We don't look at that. But when you look at the history, you see like, oh, it's a clear divide. But now when we talk about this political thing and you look at the history, you see from the very beginning. You keep looking at the history, it gets more corrupt. It gets more sick. It gets more diabolical.
Correct.
And that's what I'm saying. You look at the history of the church, it's not that. You can clearly see where somebody came in and split it up. But you look at the history of this political thing from the jump. When Rothschild said, y'all can take the political power, I want to control the money. Because if you control the money, you control the people from the beginning.
Right.
You look at when Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson and all them was beefing and why they were beefing. You look, because it's been corrupt from the beginning. Okay, because we've been saying we're a democracy and we're a democratic republic, which is totally different. And we're really an oligarchy. The people who have the money control everything. And you see that. We talked about that with Diddy. The people who have the money can shut that. Oh, you think you got money? No, we got more money. We run this. We're going to shut it down. And even now, we're talking about policy. What are we really talking about? We're talking about who does it benefit financially. We're talking about money. And the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right, the love of it. Correct.
Okay, so again, but the people who are making these rules and stuff, they're loving money and they're trying to convince us it's not about that. But ultimately, that's what it boils down to. Because we're talking about the economy. We're talking about inflation. We're talking about salaries not increasing and prices going up on everything else. It all boils down to that. But the people who are making the decisions are in love with this money. And like I said, but at the end of the day, you can't even spend $1 billion in your lifetime. But these people are making decisions based off of money they can spend on our lives. And they're getting us and they're trying to convince us that it's about family and about morality. And it ain't about none of that.
So what's the best way to fight the system?
The best way to fight the system is to not fight the system. The best way to fight the system is to turn our face back towards him and to fall in love with him and to obey him and his word. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep going to the golden calf thinking that it's going to save us until it ultimately destroys us. And most of us, including those of us watching this, are going to take the mark. Most of us who are going to do this because we believe that we're doing something different and it's going to be too late. By the time we realize what happened, we're going to already have taken the bang bang. We're going to already have injected it within ourselves. We're already not going to be able to do business or trade with one another until we got to physically scan our foreheads or our hands and do that stuff, because that's where it's going. And that's what they're convincing us to do. And they're using this, all of it's an experiment.
So the best way to fight the system is not to participate in it.
You cannot
to your
lose.
View.
Just like it's an old saying that says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You can't lose a game you don't play. The reason why we're constantly getting screwed, the reason why we're arguing with each other on social media, the reason why people argue at work is because we're constantly playing this game. And we're trying to convince the other person our side of it. And in reality, both of y'all are right. Both of y'all been losing the whole time. So when you argue with your friend on Facebook or you argue with your friend on work, guess what? You right. But on the flip side, he right too. Or she right. Because y'all both been losing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I look at it another way. I don't see.
I just
you
I
being
hope and I pray.
in a total different situation. If I'm a part of this economy or system that we're currently in, if I pay taxes in a system, again, if you don't vote, like I said, that's on you. But just my logic is, if you're currently being paid by the system, if you're currently paying taxes in the system, and if you're currently complaining or have big issues with the system and you don't do nothing or participate in it, then how do you, what's the solution then? Because to me, you're just like, if the man you give the 10 talents to, you the man, okay, I did nothing. I just hid my stuff. I didn't do nothing. I just stood there because I wasn't supposed to do anything. And so I'm looking at it like, well, if you're not supposed to do nothing, if you're not building a coalition like Rizza Islam, if you're not building a coalition or something like 19 Keys, that they get paid from their, I think, religious organization or doing something like that that's not anywhere involved with the government or anything like that. So I think it's easier for them to say, I'm not going to vote, because they don't have anything necessarily that they're getting from the system. But if you're currently in this system, if you're currently a business person in this system, if you're currently an entrepreneur in this system, there's this very different difference of perspective between these two type of candidates, and one is going to affect you way more than the other, whether that's just in this realm, in the realm of business, or just in the realm of some other stuff. We get into the whole morality stuff. I don't even like to get into the whole morality, talking about that, even with people, even on social media and stuff, because people not even going to see it even from a spiritual point of view. So it's like to not even go there, because not people, they ain't got ears to hear that, but they can hear about the economy stuff and how some of this stuff will affect you whether you want it to or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this stuff is going to affect you at some point. Now, if you just like, I don't want to do it or participate in it. At one time, I was like, I didn't kind of get it, but I guess I'm more, I don't want to say empathize, but just I get that stance, because I do think the system is corrupt. I do think this whole system is set up for us, to necessarily fail. But then also know this is the only way that we know right now, unless we come together as one and not just be these separate entities. Well, I'm not going to vote. Okay, but these 10,000 other people are going to vote. If we ever get together and join in as black people, I think we said this on the pod before, and just be like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to stick to it. But having different people spaced out here and there, oh, I'm not going to vote over here, but I'm going to vote right here. I'm not going to vote. It's like, it's not efficient. You know what I'm saying? Unless we all just kind of be like, but if we have somebody over here be like, okay, nah, forget this system right here. Another person, forget this system, then have a whole conglomerate of people. Okay, I'm going to vote. It's kind of like, look, man, if we're going to do something, let's do it together. Just like the port people with the strikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if two workers were like, we're going to strike, it wouldn't be effective. You know what I'm saying? They had to get the whole team to be like, nah, we're not going to do this. This is why they had everybody going to get paper towels, tissue from Sam's. I'm trying to go get some tissue. Everybody else, the stuff is out, because the port workers were like, we ain't doing it. And they got together as one. Until we get together, or we have like this meeting and be like, look, we ain't going to do this, and this is how we're going to do it. But having all these one-offs, you know what I'm saying, this section of people doing this over here, but then they have a greater number of people doing this over there, to me, it's like, bro, what are we going to do? Because if we ain't going to do it together, then, look, this is the system that we're currently in, just like when they did the whole boycott and did all, like, that's what they had to do for the system they were in. They got together and they did something, and the government reacted, they responded to it. Until we do something like that, if we all just like, hey, Rag, JB, Gip, McDade, Brian, whoever, we're going to get our TSU conglomerate, we're going to get University of Memphis, we're going to get Penny and his people, we're going to get You know what I'm saying? LeBron and his folks be like, look, LeBron come out on the platform and be like, look, man, I know I endorse da-da-da-da. Look, we ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Da-da-da-da. Until we do something like that, I don't see it being effective at all, because even with the bus boycott, they had to get a whole lot of people, and it took 13 months for them to do that. So until we come together and do that, like, I'm gonna be a part of the system as far as the voting part, because I don't see any other way for anything to stop. The thing is for it to stop the bleeding a little bit. It's nothing that's going to wipe everything and erase it, but one person is going to stop the bleeding a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? The other person is going to let that junk just like flood out. And so I'm with you, or anybody that says they don't want to vote. This is their perspective, that they think that's what they want to do. But I'm like, if we're gonna do that, let's get organized and do that together, because these one-offs, you're gonna do it, he not gonna do it, is not helping. It's not gonna help anybody,
because you got too many people that still feel like, well, we're gonna keep doing the same thing our parents did, and our grandparents did, and our great-grandparents did. I think that you were looking at it a little bit wrong with parable of the talents. When you were a child growing up in your parents' house, did you ever complain?
Yeah.
Did your brothers ever complain?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had a right to. Y'all didn't choose that. Y'all was born into that. Y'all didn't have a choice. You know who couldn't complain, though? Your dad couldn't complain. You know why he couldn't complain? Because he chose that. Your mom might have tried to, but at the end of the day, you chose that. So no, the people who vote, you don't get to complain because you chose that. The people who are our kids who are born into this crap, they got a right to complain. They didn't choose that. We fucked that up. Just like when we was growing up, we had a right to complain because our parents fucked that up. Just like when they was growing up, they had a right to complain because their parents fucked it up. But now what happens is, if we assimilate our kids the same way the faith was assimilated, and we convince them to do the same thing that we did, that our parents did, that our grandparents and great-grandparents did, that has not profited anybody anything, at what point is it going to change? Because what's going to happen is, and it's going to be too late, we're going to be 60, we're going to be 70, we're going to be 80, we're going to be on our deathbeds, we're going to see that this has profited me nothing. Everything that I've accumulated, I can't take it with me, and hopefully I've raised my kids enough to where they don't fuck it up, but they might. And we got siblings. We know, like, some of them might fuck it up.
Now, when
and so what I'm saying is, but when we realize now, dang, it's too late. Well, our kids corrupted now. They done taken the shot. They only know the shot. They invite the shot. They want the shot. The shot could be killing them. The shot got them taking all types of medication that's producing all other side effects. But they're so indoctrinated in the shot because we've indoctrinated them with the shot that once we realize, oh shit, we shouldn't have took the shot. This shot is some bullshit. But now they indoctrinated in it. And we might try to tell them like, hey, you know what, we was wrong. But you know what, they're like, Pops, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. We gon' this next shot we get gonna be right. This next one, wait till we get this next one. This next one gonna do us some good. And then now we sitting up here looking at our grandkids and our great-grandkids. And we realize, like, oh, shit. Just like my grandparents when they realized. But it was too late. My mom and dad was indoctrinated. It was too late. Mm-hmm. My pops is starting to realize it now. But for a long time, and I was right there with them. Getting on these councils and going to these, but I was right there with them. But the very thing that they taught me to do, think for yourself, do your research, know your history, study, let's look at use your brain, study the scripture, do all that. And so once I started to do that and I started to question, well then it's like, and I see like, oh, y'all so indoctrinated by this shot. And what's the shot? This shot of vote or die. This shot of believing that it's going to do that. But again, when you study the scripture, that is how they're going to get us. It is not going to be some off the wall thing, some miracle. It is going to be with the very thing that we have always been doing, that our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents have been doing. And that's what's going to get it. And that is why when Moses had got them out of Israel, that's why a whole generation had to die out. Because you had a whole generation saying, well, this is the way we've always done it. This is what we know. And if we keep doing it this way, then it's going to be something. And he had to wait till all of them folks died out because you only had a couple. Like you said, it was only two, but you only had Joshua and Caleb who said, no, we see something different. But we got to wait till all the rest of these folks die out. Mm-hmm. Because it's only two that see it, so all the rest of y'all got to die.
So when are we gonna come together then? Because
we realize
because the one else is not gonna work.
All of that is their game. Again, we talk about morality, but none of these so-called Republicans of the faith, none of them saying Yahuwah. They don't know his name. They're not saying his name. Our God ain't the same God. That's trickery. That's like what the enemy did in the garden. Oh, you're not going to die. That's what they're doing. They tell a little bit of truth, but it's a whole lot of lie on the other side. So I can't focus on the little bit of truth of, oh, I'm not really going to die. Oh, I'm about family. Oh, I don't believe in but the little bit of truth. But the whole lot of lie, if we're trying to control everybody. We're trying to kill certain people out. We're trying to commit genocide. We're trying to do it. That whole lot of lies on the other side we ain't looking at because we stuck on a little bit of truth of quote-unquote morality. And that's a little bit of truth, but it's a whole lot of lies on the other side. And I got to look at the big picture. I can't focus on this little bit of truth that's convenient for me because what Joshua said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. So as for me and my house, I ain't worried about what you're trying to pass with everybody. I'm worried about me and my house. If I got me and my house, you could do that because I'm going to vote against your policy. But even if your policy passes, as for me and my house, this is what me and my house doing. Correct. And if everybody is focused on their house.
You do it anyway.
If everybody is focused on their house, I ain't got to vote for no particular representative. Because if my house is good and your house is good and their house is good and their house is good, it's going to be enough houses to where it don't matter what policy y'all pass. It's going to be enough houses good where we all good. But we so focused on this quote-unquote morality that we are missing the forest for the tree. And it's an old parable that says is that even the trees voted for the axe because the axe had a little bit of wood in it. The handle was made of wood, and the axe is like, I'm just like you guys. The whole time the axe is cutting down the whole forest. And the trees are voting for the axe because they're like, look at the handle, it's wood. It's just like us. It's morality. It's fact. We believe in something. And that's what we're doing. We are voting for the axe because it's got wood in the handle, but the whole time it's chopping us down. And by the time we realize, and when I say we, I mean our people. I mean those of us who have been indoctrinated. And I was indoctrinated at one point. Unfortunately, our kids are going to be corrupted by it, and they're going to already start corrupting our grandkids. And if we don't see it, our grandkids, we will have to die knowing that we have put our grandkids in a position to where they are willing to accept what it talks about in Revelations because we've indoctrinated them to accept that because that is how it's coming. It's coming in a political and a faith way.
Yeah.
And so now if we don't, so the thing is, what they're telling you is you really don't have a choice. You got to participate. So it don't matter which one you're voting for. The outcome is the same. Because if Revelation tells you that it comes from a political system, then that means it's something that we have to vote for. So it really don't matter who we vote for. At some point, it's coming because of that. It's coming because we put somebody in there. It's going to be something that everybody agrees with, that we say this is the person that's supposed to lead us to the thing, or this is the party or the policy that's supposed to lead us to the thing. And so wait a second, if it's coming this way, if we know how the movie's going to end, okay, so what does everything have in common? We got to vote. We got to participate in this. So in order for me to take a hard line against it and not take this mark, to not stand with it, I can't be a part of that. Because everybody that's a part of that, by the time you realize that it's going to be too late, you already got it. You're going to realize why you're in it that I'm already a part of. I'm already on the team. And at that point, the only way you get out of it is by you losing your life in a tragic way.
Yeah, I just don't see a way if you're actively getting paid from a system and working within the system, unless you collectively come together and do something about it.
So you're saying if you didn't work in the system, it'd be okay for you not to do it?
If I was working...
That's just a job. That ain't your soul. That's a job.
It's not.
Well, hold on. Are you being paid? Are they paying you for your policy, or are they paying you for the work you do?
They're paying me for the work.
So it's a transaction then. You're doing something, correct, and they're paying you for that. So it ain't about your policy. They're paying you. So if you don't do the work, do you get paid?
Yeah. Still get
so
paid.
You get paid if you don't do the work. If you don't perform your job duties, you get paid.
Well, yeah, theoretically.
You can go through the duration of your working life. You ain't got to show up. You ain't got to turn in nothing. You can just be there. I'm not talking about paid vacation. I'm not talking about times where you finish early. I'm saying you can say, because I'm a part of this organization, I'm good. I ain't got to do nothing, and they're going to pay you every day.
No.
So that means you have to do something.
Right. I have to do
transactional.
Something. It's a transaction.
So it ain't like just belong. It ain't like your kids that benefit from your house because you the daddy. Your kids don't have to do nothing. They benefit just by existing. They don't have to pay no taxes. They don't have to pay no rent. They don't have to do anything. As a matter of fact, they're not doing anything for you other than the benefit of you saying, these are my kids and look at how they shining. They benefit just by existing.
Right.
That don't work in the same way in the job. We don't benefit just by existing. You start working for the company, that insurance get cut off. The moment that you say goodbye or you get fired, that insurance stop that day. Get into an accident 2 weeks after you get fired and see if you still got insurance.
Right.
So how good is that system? No. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, the system, it's a transaction where you work, but what I'm saying is everything, and people hate that word, trickle down, as far as what the economy and all this stuff that you are a part of because you pay taxes. You look at your check, this stuff is being taken. So this stuff, you're being affected by it, whether you want to realize it or not. And so what I'm saying, if you have two big differences of whatever, that's why other people vote on their interests or vote whatever on their family or whatever their current situation is, because you have a situation, and if you're educated about the actual information and economy and stuff like that, a lot of people vote based on that because they know they work within the system in some way. It's going to trickle down to them, whether that's on a local level or national level. So that's the way most people vote, is because they know at some point it's going to trickle down in this way or another because of this is the system that we're in.
Why did we go to war with Great Britain?
Great Britain, I don't know.
Taxation without representation.
Okay.
Initially, the Tea Tax, the Boston Tea Party.
Tea Tax, yep. EJ looking at that now, actually.
So now again, and keep in mind, like that I was a history teacher, so that was one thing we talked about, and I got in trouble for this because I'm teaching third graders, 8-year-olds, about how unconstitutional it is that when you get paid a paycheck, you don't get to keep all your money. They tax you for that. But then when you go get gas, get taxed for that. You buy a house, you get taxed for that. And then they got the audacity, if you manage to save a certain amount of money in the banks, of money that you've already paid taxes on, they tax you for that just for keeping it in the bank.
So what are we going to do?
So now how unconstitutional is that? When we went to war, people lost their lives. They died because we said it's not fair for us to keep having to pay taxes for this stuff that we already paid taxes on. But yet every American has to do that. And that is the thing. So now again, we talk about this system that's constantly screwing us and trickle down that's constantly screwing us. And it's a reason why doctors have the highest rate of suicide, because they see I go to school for all of these years and I'm supposed to be helping people, healing people, and I'm really not. And they realize I'm being tricked. Just like a lot of people realize that I'm playing in this system that I'm so-called a part of, and it ain't until I get ready to leave this earth. It ain't until I get sick physically and my body breaks down that I realize they played me. But even worse, I didn't convince my wife and my kids to do that. And even worse, they're convincing their wives and their kids to do that. And it ain't nothing I can say. I am just like old boy that died, the rich man in Lazarus, when he said, "Can I come back and tell my brothers?" And what he said is you know what? No, you can't, because they got the prophets, they got everybody else. And just like you didn't listen when you were here, they probably not going to, if you came back from the dead, they probably wouldn't listen. So whatever happens is going to happen to them. And that is going to be what happens. Because you're going to have somebody like a Lazarus, like a me, like other people who are saying that, you ain't listening because I'm just a poor man. But when that person lift their eyes up in hell, they're going to be saying, "Hey, can Rag come and dip his finger in some water and just put it on my tongue?" And he going to say, "No, you had Rag when you was here. Rag was trying to tell you. You wasn't listening to Rag." And when you come back, if you was to come back as a ghost and try to tell your brothers or your kids, they wouldn't hear it because they wouldn't hear you. They heard the same thing you heard. And so even if your spirit came back and tried to tell them, they wouldn't listen. And so, like, what has to change is somebody who is like yourself, somebody who has influence like yourself, somebody who's educated like yourself, somebody who's rational like yourself, somebody who has understanding like yourself. When you actually really look at it, like let's not look at the money, let's not look at the finances, because we can't take none of that here. This stuff is here. It's not going to leave this earthly realm. It only benefits me here. And what is the bigger play? What is the bigger picture? You would tell your daughter, if a guy was telling her all the stuff he could do for her and everything like that, but if he really was just trying to have sex with her or get her pregnant, you say, "Don't fool with it. Look at the big picture. Don't look at he can buy you this car and he can put you in this house. He really just trying to put you another notch on his belt." Mm-hmm. Understand that. So even if you do want to go into that situation knowing he just trying to knock you down, you would say that to her. Mm-hmm. In the same way, you got to understand, you got to tell people, like, "Look, understand this is what it is. Don't look at the short term. Oh, well, my house and my mortgage and this and that. Look at the big picture." Because if they can convince me to take that, just like they convinced us to take that shot, and I don't say us as in me and you, but that's the same ploy that's the same play they used.
Right. Now, I do want to say this before we shut down, because we've been going for a minute. Now, what you saying, the government and the system is playing us, or are we playing ourselves by not educating ourselves enough to play within the system to get ahead like a lot of other people? Because a lot of people that look like us that don't have that same story, they won't say that the system screwed up. They got educated enough within business, within other wisdom from Holy Spirit or whatever, that they got the wisdom in order to put them on top, to put them in. Now, depending on people's work ethic and how their mind frame is that, okay, this system is screwing us, until we get enough knowledge or we get enough education. People are always talking about all these rich people, they getting over in taxes. No, they're educating themselves. They got people that are more educated that can do it legally in order to do that. So is the system screwing us, or are we just not really educating ourselves to the degree to really help us get above to where the system is? Because a lot of people are doing it nowadays. It's not like it's foreign, you know what I'm saying, in order to do it. It's just we have to do more than the status quo, than just to do just what everyday people do, and actually just educate ourselves more, get in our prayer closet, listen to Holy Spirit more, to really get the information and stuff that we need in order to put us where we need to where we can't just be like, oh, a cop out, oh, the system is screwing us. Oh yeah, it's been screwing us if we doing the status quo things, you know what I'm saying? But until we actually put ourselves in a position, don't play the victim, don't play, anything like that, now we can be in position to do what a lot of other black people that look like us in that are doing, that we on the other side are just up here, oh no, this is wrong, playing the victim. But then on the other side, like, no, you're not playing the victim. No, you might need to get yourself educated more on this side so you can pull yourself up or get other people that work for you that can legally get you past some of these tax burdens and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now again, like I said, you're talking about that again, and I would challenge anybody. You go back throughout Scripture. It don't matter, and I stopped saying Old Testament, New Testament. It's one word, like I believe it's either in Timothy or Thessalonians, where it said all Scripture is profitable for doctrine, for instruction. Like, so all Scripture is all Scripture. It ain't this Old Testament. No, the New Testament is prophesied in the Old Testament. So if I just say, well, this is just New Testament, that's old. Well, no, the Messiah was prophesied in the Old Testament. So if I get rid of the Old Testament, everything Jesus said is relevant. I can't, because he was prophesied from the beginning in Genesis. When God said that the woman's seed would bruise the serpent's head, like, he was prophesied in Genesis chapter 3. So I can't get rid of the Old Testament. All of the covenants from Adam to David to Moses to Abraham, like, all of them was prophesied in the Old Testament. The father of our faith, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it says in the New Testament, that was prophesied in the Old. I can't get rid of the Old Testament. It's one scripture, it's one word. So now when you look at it, they tried to get Daniel caught up in a political system. And he was a part of the government. And they said they passed an edict. Nobody can't pray to nothing except for the king.
Didn't they pass legislation to get them arrested and stuff?
Daniel? Yes.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they set him up.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And again, the scripture's showing us that's what it is. That's what it does. That's what they're trying to do. You're not accepted in this. You're not a part of this. It don't matter even if you got a position. You don't belong to this.
But we see how powerful
and he
that
said,
it is.
I'm not going to participate in this because y'all say this is what we should be doing. I'm not. Can't do it. I'm anti this. I'm against that. Right. The 3 Hebrew boys, even though y'all saying this is what we should do, we're not going to do it. We can't eat this meat that y'all sacrifice to idols. So just give us vegetable because we can't eat this meat. Y'all sacrifice this meat to idols. We're not going to eat that.
You comparing that to voting, though?
Yes. How's that any different?
It's very different.
That's not any different.
Because to what you're saying would be just tell somebody that you saying I have to marry these people and I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's not, to me, that's saying something like I have to let my 5-year-old girl go into the bathroom with this 20-year-old. No, I'm not going to participate in that. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at that as a voting
bill. You don't have to vote for a party or that bill don't have nothing to do with a person or a party. But you can say, I do not want my 5-year-old daughter to be in the bathroom with a 20-year-old male.
But then
that's a bill. That is not a policy or a person who also has other agendas, which means
but you're participating in the process still,
if I put you in there, every other thing that you are a part of, I'm complicit and I agree with.
If you vote on the bill, you're still a part of the process.
No, what I'm saying is, but you also, if you vote in the person, you're voting to put that person in. Every other thing that they put in, you can't say, well, I didn't agree with what you voted for them. You're complicit. You drove the car. You don't get to say, well, I didn't go in the bank and rob it. You drove the car. You get the same time.
Well, that's why the word tells you to pray for the leaders.
And pray for the leaders, not vote for the leaders.
Pray for the leaders.
Pray for the leaders, not vote for the leaders.
Because if you vote them in, the human side can be a part of that.
No, you pray for them because, number one, we're supposed to pray for all men.
Correct.
And we pray that God directs their heart.
Correct.
But we are not supposed to play part in that because that is a thing of man. That is what man wants to do. Man wants to put a figurehead or a person in. That ain't no different than them taking the golden calf. We need a representative. We don't need God. We need a representative. We need somebody to represent God. Well, even though we saw God do this, we need a physical representation that we can look at and worship and reverence to signify everything that we've gone through.
But that's the system.
Okay, and again, what is the world? Is the world a physical thing or is it a system?
Well, when I'm saying, if you're
Romans 12:2,
if you're not willing
not
to
conform to this world, meaning shaped or fashioned or influenced by this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, which is your reasonable service. So then, being not conformed, meaning shaped or fashioned or influenced. So then, if I'm voting, I'm being shaped and fashioned and influenced. I can't be conformed. I got to be transformed. And transform mean I'm not doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And everybody else is voting or dying. Everybody else is arguing about which person is the best. Everybody else is arguing about, we trying to argue about policy or personality. Instead of us being transformed by the renewing of our minds. Instead of us saying, you know what, I'm going to let y'all have it. My faith is in him. And regardless of who gets elected, Republican or Democrat, right wing or left wing, I'm going to pray for the leader because my faith ain't in them. My faith is in him because I ain't even vote for them. I don't trust y'all because y'all are human. I trust for people to be themselves. So my faith is in him who does not disappoint. Who has always done. But I cannot say, you know what, God, I'm going to disregard you. I'm going to pick this person, but then turn around and say, even though I pick this person, I'm going to pray, even though I went against you and picked him.
How'd you go against him?
Because you picked the person instead of him.
Right.
I'm not supposed to pick a person.
That sounds silly as hell, though.
No, it ain't. Who did Jesus pick?
That sounds too silly.
Who did Jesus endorse?
Because two things can be true.
Who did the Messiah endorse?
Two things can be true. If somebody votes and saying they don't have their faith in this person, no, they got a faith in this process in this country that I'm in. Because if I don't want to participate in this, I don't need to be working for nothing. I don't need to be a part of this system.
Okay,
I don't need to be paying taxes.
Regardless. If you work a job, they're going to take. If you live in a house, you don't have a choice. If you go buy gas, you pay taxes.
That's my point.
You go buy something in a store, you pay taxes.
That's my point.
It don't matter who you vote for. You're going to pay it regardless. And this is the bullshit, is that if you commit a felony, you can't vote for nobody.
Okay.
It don't. So right. Again, you talk about this. So again, we talk about it's plenty of felons who've served their time, who've done what the law says that they are supposed to do. That these people have instituted this stuff. You served your time, you paid your debt, and you still can't vote for nobody. Right. But guess what? If you get a job, they still gonna tax you. You still get a house, they still gonna tax you. You buy gas or groceries, they still gonna tax you. It ain't no card that you get to say, well, hey, I'm a felon. I don't have a right to vote, so even though I ain't a part of this system no more, I don't have to pay taxes. Because guess what? The illegal immigrants that come over here, or anybody who comes over here, when you purchase something over here, you got to pay taxes whether you want to be a part of this system or not. It does not matter. It is what it is.
But you're picking and choosing which part of the system you want to participate in.
No, what I'm saying is
no. Because if somebody is voting, you saying you shouldn't be able to do that, but then you're participating by doing the other stuff. If you're voting on the bill, if you're working this job that this government, whatever, is paying you, you're a part of the same system.
Are they paying you just to be paying you, or are they paying you because you're doing some work?
But it's part of this system, though.
But they're paying you for a service.
But it's part of the system which you're trying to talk against.
But they're paying you for a service rendered,
which is part of the system.
It's all a part of the system.
Correct. So voting is the same thing. So if you're paying taxes,
a choice. I don't get paid.
If you're paying taxes,
and it's not benefiting me nothing.
If you have a house and you paying property taxes, you doing all this stuff. You have a car. You pay your stuff yearly. You pay insurance, which everything's a part of the system. And you're saying, oh, I shouldn't be able to vote on this because you're picking and choosing which part of the system you want to be a part of. But
you're not picking and choosing. You don't have a choice.
That's my point. That's your point. You don't have a choice. So why not actually be a part of the actual process?
The choice on is whether or not you vote, which again, they're using that anyway to constantly justify the bullshit that they do. And the only way to break the system
is politics.
And it's proven the only way to break the system is to not participate in the system. But the reason why the system can never break is because you constantly have people to keep reinventing the wheel, thinking that something different is going to happen by doing the exact same thing that we've been doing for 100 years, and ain't nothing ever changed. and we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep telling our kids to do it, and our kids are going to tell their kids to do it. And 100 years from now, somebody's going to say, well, if we just vote for this next person, everything is going to be all right. And that's the same thing we heard 100 years ago.
Was the Montgomery bus boycott a success?
Yeah. In the beginning.
It was a success, okay. And so what did they actually do? They actually
broke the system.
They broke the system by working with the system against the system.
They did not work with the system. How did they work with the system?
Because they knew the money was a part of the system.
What did they do to help the system to make the Montgomery bus cop work?
I didn't say they helped the system.
You said they worked with them.
They worked with the system.
No, they didn't.
No. What I'm saying is, what was the system in place? The blacks couldn't do whatever they needed to do, right?
They could not ride the buses ran by the white organizations.
Correct. So they bucked against the system because they knew the money.
So how did they work with that system?
Okay, I'm saying they worked with the system because they knew the system was ran off money, correct?
No.
The system was ran off the money
ran off of power, authority.
Money and power. That's what it was ran off of.
No, it ran off of power, not money.
They lost millions of dollars.
They lost money.
That's why they broke.
They lost money because if you don't have something helping to run that power infrastructure, it is, like you talked about, trickle down. It is going to trickle down to the money. It's
going to trickle down. So that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying they did not deal with money. They just said, we're not going to deal with your power structure.
Correct. And
we're not going to vote. We're going to start our own thing.
But who's going to do that?
Our own bus
who's going to do it?
I'm doing it.
That's what I'm saying. But
that's what I'm saying.
You're one person. That's what I'm saying.
But guess what? You got more money than me.
That ain't going to work,
You got more money than me.
That ain't going to work.
But guess what? The reason why it ain't going to work, because the person who got more money than me, you ain't doing it. You're helping fund their system. And people who are in the same position as you,
well, the crazy thing,
people who are in the same position as you are doing the exact same thing.
But you doing the same thing I'm doing. You just not participating in it.
I'm not doing the same thing.
You are. Because
you're
going to get dealt with the same way I'm dealt with, but I'm actually voting for a person, and you're just doing, you're going to get the same results, but you ain't doing what I'm doing, but you're getting the same thing I'm going to get.
So, again, why would I do that? And this goes back to, like we talked about me in school.
It's like we in the system.
Why would I study for a test if I'm gonna pass anyway? Why would I stay up all night stressing, losing sleep, losing weight, getting anxiety, and they still gonna graduate me anyway?
Getting anxiety? Who getting anxiety?
No, I'm saying that's what people do when they got tests to take in the morning. They stay up all night, they biting their nails, they getting anxiety. But if I know I'm gonna pass, and that's the same thing I told my parents, if y'all are gonna give my brothers the same reward and they didn't do what I did, why am I gonna do it and they getting the reward and they didn't do nothing?
So how does this compare with this?
Why would I sit up and vote when I see that me voting, me putting somebody in, has not resulted in anything for people that look like me? It has not helped people who look like me. As a matter of fact, it only helps people of a certain financial level, whether they look like me or not. So basically what it's saying, it ain't about people who look like me, it's about money. So now if I lose that money, if my job falls, if I get laid off, if I get fired, so now I'm not in that financial position no more. And so now I'm not concerned about tax breaks or nothing like that. And now I go back to looking how I look. I see the reality of what it is. It ain't about, oh, I'm exceptional. No, it ain't about that. It's because you have a quote-unquote certain tax bracket. You're not exceptional. You got money. Or you're in a better position than most people. But then when you can't pay to play, we don't give a fuck about you. Which is that's most of us. And as much as I don't agree with Kanye, Kanye said one of the realest things ever. Back in Katrina, George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was one of the realest things he ever said. That's facts. But that ain't just him. That's the whole Republican Party. They don't. But guess what? That's the Democrats too. They just like to make it nice, like they eat at the barbecue, but they really talk about us behind our back. But neither one of them are for us. And the only way to break the system, and you keep bringing up the Montgomery bus boycott, the only way to break the system and to make them change the system, which is what they wanted them to do anyway, and it only took 13 months. That's it. That's it. All it got to take is one voting cycle. All it would take is one voting cycle. If when they doing that stuff on the news and they like, man, well, we in Tennessee and it's not as many people voted as the last for it. Oh, we in Michigan and not as many people voted in the last. And yeah, whoever gonna win. But now they gonna be looking at it like, okay, voting is down everywhere. In all the swing states, in Texas, in New York, in Indiana, in Iowa, it's down. Why? In Florida, in Georgia, like why is it that California? Why is it down? Because all of a sudden all these people stop playing against. So then now, yeah, whoever gonna win. But then they're gonna come back to the table and they're gonna be trying to figure out why didn't all these people participate? What happened? What made y'all not go? And then, to your point, then we can come and say, okay, if you want us to play in this game, these are some things that we need.
And the truth,
and that's but until that. So again, but if we don't, it's gonna be the same thing. And to go back to Corey Red, 8 years of Bush equals 4 more Payne, regardless who's in office, Barack or McCain. Who's ever in the hot seat is gonna get the blame while the next candidate is screaming, "We need you." And that's what Vice President Harris was saying. That's what President Biden was saying. When Trump got elected, that's what Trump was saying. When Barack was in office, that's what President Obama was saying. Before him, that's what Bush was saying. When Gore was trying to run, like it's the same. Like it's the same spiel every time. We ain't seeing no new playbook. But we're still sitting up here, and even me and you, we're sitting up here arguing about folks that don't care nothing about neither one of us. And you sitting up here real live caping for them, and they don't give a, if you die tomorrow, they not going to say JB was a good vote. They don't give a fuck about JB.
See, but the thing is, it ain't even about caping, bro. It's about you really, like, honestly, most people that had that point of view, they ain't seen no type of money. Because, truth be told, we get a media conglomerate with this like this, I guarantee you will be singing a different tune because in your heart of hearts you will, because it's going to be a stark difference for people that's actually in business and making this. This makes a difference unless we're going to get all together and make an actual stand against something.
The only thing that I would do differently.
Until then, it would be nothing.
I might be silent.
That's good enough.
But I am never voting again. So you talking about singing a different tune? I will take their money and I just won't say shit. But I'm not gonna agree with you.
But that's saying something.
You can give me your money.
You not saying something, it's you saying something.
But even with that, if you giving me your money, it's just like why I used to get in trouble at FedEx. You give me a position and JB, you hit somebody tug out there and they want me to dime out JB. You know what I'm gonna tell them? I don't know who was driving that tug. I didn't write his tug number down. I didn't get his employee number. He was blocking my flight. I had to get him out. That's why I used to get in trouble at FedEx, because my manager wanted me to snitch. Who was the driving that tug? And you know what I did? I didn't dime my driver out. Even though I'm in a position, you taking management classes, Roche, you need to be thinking higher up. I wasn't for sale. When they got rid of my manager and those of us who was on our flight said, we not coming in on Monday. They told us on a Friday they was getting rid of our manager. All the ramp agents said we not coming in on Monday. We didn't show up. Our flight went out 3 hours late. We didn't come in on Tuesday either. They went out 3.5 hours late. We came in on Wednesday. Every one of us, when we came in on Wednesday, they marched us upstairs and we all sitting in a meeting and they said we colluded to try to corrupt the flights at FedEx. And they tried to pit me as the ringleader. I didn't say I wasn't no ringleader. I just said I wasn't coming in. I couldn't speak for nobody else, but guess what? I didn't throw nobody under the bus. Mm-hmm. And so, in that moment, when I made that decision at FedEx, from that moment, every day, my senior manager made it a point. He was at my flight every day, waiting for me to fuck up, waiting for the flight to go out late, waiting for a can to get dropped, waiting for some packages to get missed, because I disrupted the system. And I ain't think about it. Like, I just was standing up for my manager. I wasn't for sale. Y'all ain't going to give me. I didn't think it was that big. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I say I've been a disruptor, I've been seeing the consequences of what it looked like when you disrupted. And when my flight did go out late, and I had to resign.
Where did it get you, though?
And I had to resign so I wouldn't get fired.
Where did it get you?
And I had to resign so I wouldn't get fired. But guess what? I had an opportunity to throw somebody a bus even in that. And I didn't, because I have integrity. And you know what? Did that cost me money? Probably. But I'm okay with that. I sleep great at night. Okay. And I can't say I wouldn't sleep great if I ain't have more money. But I ain't get nobody else. And that person still got their job and they still out there. But we making the same amount of money now. Even though I work at the post, they making the same as I make now. They didn't go want to be no manager or nothing like that. So, hey, it is what it is. It ain't like they came and they blew up and they, became a senior manager out there and I'm sitting up there at the post. No, we make the same amount of money now. I'm good.
Now, the moral of the story is, however you feel about this, we on two different sides of the line. He doesn't vote for his reasons. I say do vote. I say if you so choose to. I'm saying at the end of the day, we're in America. We're a part of the system. We all eat out this system. We pay property taxes in this system. We buy food in this system. We do everything else, which I'm saying in this system. And so the only thing I'm not going to participate in is a voting. Is like, yeah, it don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So to each his own. I know you wanted to say the RIP to a couple people before we get out of here. Man, we over 3 hours.
Man, that's okay. They watching live.
Yeah, but I got to go to the head and I got...
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying. They done missed out 3 months worth of stuff.
Yeah. We spent most of the time on that.
Look at our favorite stuff we watched. Man, Joe Budden them run longer than that.
Oh, yeah, no. That's why they on Patreon.
I'm saying that granted, they get what they get, but I'm just saying, like, we can't be thinking small style.
Yeah, I ain't thinking small. I'm thinking...
No, I get it. I'm just saying. Like, we can't be like, oh, we just got to give. This is what the people want.
Yeah, it's going to be on replay.
Okay.
So
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but for real, though, like, we ain't going to go long, man. Rest in peace to Pete Rose and John Amos. We missed them while we was on hiatus. I feel like Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
He will be now.
Right, that's some bullshit. But again,
he will be now.
What he did as a manager had nothing to do with him as a player. He was a Hall of Famer as a player, and based on his merits, he should be in there based on his merits. Yeah. He's never was found out voting against his team, and even with him betting, he was found only betting for his team. Yeah. How is that? It ain't like a point spread. He was betting on his team to win. But now we look at it, we got FanDuel. Yep. We got all these. It's legal now. It's okay now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like even with the NBA player that did that, like, oh, it's a bit. But
he'll be in the Hall of Fame within 5 years.
As long as they can make money off of it, it's good. But no, he's the all-time leader in hits. I believe consecutive games played. 3 World Series. Won 3 World Series. As a player, I think won another 2 as a manager. Like, dude is unparalleled as an athlete and a player. He was definitely down with the swirl. He messed with the brother. He stood up for his teammates. Who look like us. And man, much love to Charlie Hustle and prayers to his family. And also, man, John Amos, another person who stood on business.
James Evans.
Exactly. Killed him off of the show because he had an issue with, initially they were supposed to making it to show like the strength of a black family. And then it immediately turned to JJ, I can't think of his name in real life. But it basically turned into a thing of like it became a coon show. And they were making it about JJ, and he was a comedian in real life, and so because he was a comedian, it made it about his comedic stuff. And the lady who played Esther Roll and John Amos, who were Florida and James respectively, were kind of like, we didn't sign up for this. This is not showing the strength of the black family. Y'all making it more coonish. And but John Amos really spoke out a lot about it, and because he did, they killed his character off. And he fell on the sword with that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, I didn't sign up for it. I don't want to be a part of it. And but in everything,
that was a sad episode too, boy.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. When he shot, yeah.
And in Roots, I mean, whether it was in Roots, whether it was in Coming to America, whether it was LL Cool J's old coach and In the House, you know what I'm saying? Tommy's dad on Martin, like John Amos, the character he played in Die Hard 2, like he was always a strong
Coming to
black
America.
male, right, the father of McDowell, and it was funny because I saw something on Instagram that was like before he was on McDowell's, he was in a McDonald's commercial, and it was a McDonald's commercial from 1971, and John Amos was in it. You know what I'm saying? They were cleaning up the McDonald's. Yeah. And it's funny because he was like sweeping the floor, and I thought about Louis Anderson, where he was like, I started off just like you. I was mopping the floor, and now I'm on fries. And it was like, and in that McDonald's commercial, he was actually sweeping the floor. But nah, man, that he was definitely iconic. Both of those guys, man. Pete Rose, iconic athlete, baseball player, Hall of Famer. John Amos, iconic activist, actor. Probably should have gotten an Emmy for something. Wasn't in so many movies to where he could have gotten an Oscar, but he definitely should have won an Emmy for something.
Also, too, with James Earl Jones, too. He passed.
Yeah, he did.
A while ago.
He did. Yeah. And he was
with
definitely
my daddy
in,
voice.
I don't know if he won an Oscar, but I know he won an Emmy, and I believe he won a Tony Award.
Yeah.
The movie Fences that Denzel was in.
Yeah.
He actually, I believe James Earl Jones won a Tony for the play Fences. In the role that Denzel played.
Did the stage
James
play.
Earl Jones, right. He did it was him and my boy that's married to Angela Bassett, Courtney Vance.
Courtney Vance, I remember
Courtney
saying
Vance
that,
was like the son.
Yeah.
And but James Earl Jones was that role. He also played as I believe Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. He played in the movie with Diane Carroll. Was it Claudine? But it was basically talking about how like the government was trying to remove the black man from the home, and it was a single mother raising her kids, and he was dating a woman, but she couldn't really get with him because she couldn't get her welfare if she got with him. But you know what I'm saying? Like he was an activist man, a very great voice actor, Darth Vader, Mufasa. He was Eddie Murphy's dad in Coming to America and Coming to America. You know, brought back in the Big Bang Theory. You know, they kind of played on this Darth Vader role with the nerds and stuff, and they had him in there trolling Carrie Fisher on the Big Bang Theory. But man, he had a very iconic interview with Muhammad Ali, and they had him like, and it's been kind of going around on social media, but they had him and Muhammad Ali, and they were walking, and they were just talking about different stuff that both of them dealt with. You know, and so. It's definitely three icons, and I'm pretty sure we're missing some other people because I know some other people have passed on. Since,
those were the top three, though. I know.
But yeah, no, those were the three most iconic.
Yeah. So, for me, at least. So.
And, Yep, man. That's what's up, man.
Yep. But yeah. Other than that,
JB got me with this politics, man. He know I don't like talking about this politics stuff, man.
Ooh, boy. We ran on that.
Know, you knew what you was doing.
We ran on that. Well, I told y'all taking the lead on it.
Man, you knew what you was doing.
No, taking the lead on it, but
I got you next time though.
You got me?
Oh no, I know. No, I got a topic for you.
Here you go.
No, it's off of one of the ones you did. So I'm gonna set you up. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm a guy, so I'm gonna get you going off. I'm and I'm writing down scenarios and everything, so you can go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. But you know, we'll talk about the basketball and football stuff kind of going on. The Grizzlies coming up, season about to start here in a couple weeks. But
what you think they're gonna do?
The Grizzlies gonna be top 6 seed. Grizzlies gonna be top 6 seed. Top 6. I ain't say 6, but top 6.
Just 6? Not higher than 6?
Just top 6. That's 1 through 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, you.
Yeah, not number 6, but top 6 though. They'll be in the top 6.
I give them at least 4.
I like that. Top 6 is safe.
Minimum of 4.
Because the top 6 is you don't have to play the play-in games, so that's the most important situation even for me. But yeah, so it's been a lot going on, and like I said, I'm really trying to do a couple times a week when we obviously when we do this pod, and then even with like the executive mindset and stuff. I want you to get set up, get set up at the house and stuff. We do something because I want to do something a few times a week because I'm trying to put a executive mindset probably Monday and probably Friday. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Talk about a few topics that I know we can spill over into the pod. Right, just like the one I just dropped yesterday.
Right, yeah, no, definitely, because I saw that, I was like, we need to talk about this.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's kind of for it too.
Right. So I didn't even know it was like Lecrae was doing the interview. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he did that. He, you know what I'm saying? So some of that stuff can kind of spill over. So, but yeah, we'll do that, man. So till next time, y'all continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.